Magic forest. I spent an hour investigating the surroundings. But apart from 1 or 2 rare herbs, I didn't find anything. Then I made up my mind to expand the search. After a few minutes, I came across a narrow path. Looking at the path, I feel this path is not a naturally formed one. My eyes flickered with a slight glint. Perhaps, people used to walk along this path to collect resources, I muttered to myself. I have a vague feeling that this path will lead to some other resource area. The more I think, the more it feels real. Swish! Then I disappeared from my spot and followed the path. A few minutes later, I reached an area that is dense with vegetation. On the way, I didn't forget to scan the surroundings. When I got closer, I found the area was not looking ordinary. Forest? I mumbled under my breath. The overgrown vegetation hindered the actual view. But now I'm looking at the several high green trees. What's more amazing is that I feel certain danger. What could be? I said in my heart. But guessing here would waste my time more. I have to enter the forest. Then after gaining some clarity, I walked forward slowly. Densely packed poisonous vegetation covered the narrow path. To clear this hurdle, I pointed my fingers and uttered, repulsive force. I slightly cast the spell. Right after, the repulsive force was released from my body. It quickly swept away the surrounding areas. Small rocks, overgrown bushes, and other waste weeds completely disappeared. Seeing the circular plain area around me, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I casually cast the spell, but it immediately swept away everything. Then I continued to cast the spell to clear the way ahead. Suddenly, a certain plant caught my attention. A black dotted vine is coiled around the tree. To confirm it, I walked a little bit closer. It's real, I uttered in surprise. Then looking at the vine again, a doubt flashed in my eyes. I don't believe that it is completely safe to collect the magic plant. There must be some danger behind it. My eyes then glanced at the bottom of the tree. I see no hole or hideout here. When I walked closer, I faced no attack. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. I casually reached out to collect the black dotted vine plant. Swish! I quickly grabbed it and took it away from the tree. Then I placed the black dotted vine in my storage ring. After collecting the vine, I retreated backward. When my feet touched the ground, I finally realized there was no real danger here. If there is one black dotted vine growing here, then it must be possible to find other black dotted vines nearby. After gaining some clarity, I moved to search the surroundings. Shortly after, I came across other black dotted vines. After collecting it, I continued my search. Meanwhile, Lara White moved to other places shortly after collecting the resources. While some of them inner house wizards are trapped near a black water swamp, the place is causing trouble for the elemental wizards. To neutralize the poison, they need a potion for it. Not all of them came prepared for the trial. When it comes to the black water swamp, the place is causing even more danger. Quickly move away, one of the inner house wizards blurred out in fear. His companion tries to flee from the black water swamp in a different direction. Some of them cast the fire magic spell in desperation. But the magic spell was not enough to neutralize the poison. Time passed. Some of the inner house wizards escaped successfully, while 1 or 2 were still trapped by the plant monsters. It would be difficult to cut down every plant monster. When the man inside their body reached low, the blue tattoo on their wrist lit up immediately, and they got teleported back to the special class. Seeing the rest of the survivors' faces turn dark, their disappearance made them understand one thing. Those people were now eliminated from the competition. Apart from collecting resources, they should focus on avoiding stepping into danger. Meanwhile, Wizard Lion gave a recovery potion and healing potion to the wizards who teleported back. Seeing them, a hint of disappointment flashed in his eyes. He knows these wizards came with a lack of preparation. Otherwise, it would have been easier for them to solve the difficulties. You guys can leave after taking the potion, Wizard Lion instructed them with a stern voice. After saying that, he shifted his attention back to the screen. Apart from Lara White and other few lucky people, the rest of the wizards find it hard to collect the listed resources. Wizard Lion even doubted whether the list was too harsh for these young wizards. But he knows this was a normal task. The mission hall used to issue several missions like this. Compared to those tasks, the current list was not that hard. Then his gaze turned toward the silhouette of Vincent Carey. Watching Vincent collecting the magic vine plants, a hint of appreciation flashes in his eyes. He is happy that Vincent finally began to collect the resources. But the speed is not enough to compete with others. Time passes in a blink of an eye. The duration of the competition is only 1 day. After that, everyone will be teleported back automatically. Meanwhile, unknowingly, I reached the Blackwater Swamp. Seeing that my eyes flickered with a slight glint. This place looked disturbed, like someone had trespassed in this area. Then a look of understanding dawned upon me. Others might have come to this place. Then I shifted my attention to the magic plants growing here. Soon I spotted the dark water lily ahead. A hint of relief flashes in my eyes. Swish! Then I immediately walked into the swamp. But soon I realized what was wrong with the place. Poison, I mumbled under my breath. The white mist covering this place is nothing but fully poisonous. Repulsive force, I uttered. A strong repulsive force repelled away the mist surrounding me. Seeing that my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Nice opportunity, I said to myself. Then I quickly moved to collect the magic plant dark water lily. After quickly placing the plant in my storage ring, I moved to collect other magic plants one by one. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 1 hour, I collected more than 10 dark water lily magic plants. Then I glanced around to see whether there were any other magic plants around here. Seeing that there was no more dark water lily, I decided to move away. But before doing that, I felt some changes in my body. What is it? A gloomy glint flashes in my eyes. I know I'm repelling all this poisonous mist using the repulsive force magic spell. Then why the changes? I decided to check my status. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 56%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 420. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 272. Speed, 274. Stamina, 272. Vitality, 250-24. Intelligence, LVL.3, 47. Soul power, LVL.3, 46. Mental power, LVL.3, 46. Constitution LVL.3, 46. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 17%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A row of information appeared before my eyes. Then my eyes immediately scanned the details. I realized that vitality has taken a hit. It must be due to this mist. There is some lingering poison in the air. Fortunately, the status was not bad. Then I saw my mana power status, which is not too low. After scanning the details once more, I closed the status panel. Meanwhile, Wizard Lion's eyes widened in disbelief. He has watched how Vincent has cleared the poisonous mist all the way. What kind of spell is that? Lion's eyes flickered with a slight glint. He knows Vincent is a gravity mage. But the spell he had cast this time looked completely different. He was amazed by seeing such a destructive force. As a result, the dark water swamp was completely overturned. It would take some time for the poisonous mist to cover again. When he calculated Vincent's collection, Wizard Lion realized it will be a matter of time before Vincent catches up with others. The Yellow River Academy. After checking the status panel, I walked away from this place. I don't know whether the resource collected will be enough to top the rankings. For the first time, I have this confusion. If it was a combat trial, I can be sure of myself. But here, apart from having strength, you need knowledge and luck. When I looked at the list on my watch, my eye gleamed with a twinkle. Instead of roaming here and there, I decided to find the pond where the white lotus flower grows. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Crystal Pond. More than 3 hours later, I rechecked the list again. Right after leaving that dark water swamp, I had managed to find the white lotus flower and others' resources on the way. The number of the white lotus was 10 in numbers. But I believe this number is enough to earn more points. The white lotus flower is a rare magical plant, so I was fortunate to find it quickly. When I was returning back from the crystal pond, I vaguely hear some noise. Hearing that, I quickly stopped my movements. The noise doesn't sound to be so simple. When I perked up my ears to listen, the sound seems to be more of a human conversation. There are others coming in my direction. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Swish! Right after, I disappeared from my spot and hid behind a nearby tree. Shortly after, I spotted a few inner house wizards coming together in two small groups. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I wasn't surprised by their appearance, but their topic of discussion intrigued me. After a couple of minutes, the group walked past me and headed straight toward the crystal pond. So these guys escaped from the attack of strange insects. Looking east, I muttered to myself, bugs? I couldn't help but think of the level 6 insect wizard from the Dark League. It will be interesting to see whether the bugs in this forest have any close resemblance. Then a quick gleam flashes in my eyes. The appearance of strange insects was not without any coincidence. There might be some resources there. Should I go there? I don't have any other clues besides this one, so I feel it's better to check that place. After gaining some clarity, I rushed toward the eastern direction. 30 minutes later, I reached the location, but the thing before me caught my eye. Deadwood branch, I uttered in surprise. Before me, there is a giant magic shade tree that stands tall. Down the ground, I see many roots from the tree spread in all directions. For a moment, I stood in silence. The tree doesn't seem to be so simple. I get a certain off vibe from it. Besides, I see no other living creatures nearby. It was a fluke to get the vine plant without any disturbance. Swish! When I was lost in thoughts, the branches from the tree suddenly moved. Seeing that, my heart skips a beat. Damn, it's a monster, I cursed under my breath. My doubts became immediately clear in my heart. Fortunately, I didn't move forward. The giant shade tree is itself a sleeping monster. I don't know whether I'm allowed to kill it or not, because the magic forest is a resource point of our academy. So the existence of the tree monster is must-have known to them. Yet they didn't kill the monster. After gaining some clarity, I decided to cut some branches before moving away from this place. Repulsive force, I cast the spell as I walked forward. A huge repulsive force released from my body. The next second it swept away the nearby debris and rocks. Feeling the attack, the giant shade tree monster woke up. The trunk shook, causing some shockwaves across the surroundings. The repulsive force reached the giant shade tree, and out of nowhere one of the branches collided with the repulsive force. Boom! A terrible sound resonated throughout the whole area. The branch broke into pieces after the blow. Seeing that, my eyes flickered with a quick glint. I rushed to pick up the broken pieces. As I picked a few within a couple of seconds, I see another branch coming towards me. I realize the tree monster is slow in response. Then after glancing at other fallen pieces, I became hesitant. I really don't want to confront this rare monster. Then I retreated backward in a blink of an eye. It's pity that I couldn't able to collect all of the fallen branches. After taking a glance at the monster, I rushed away from this place. The tree monster swayed the branches in fierce anger, but it couldn't move its body to catch the enemy. After some time, the anger subsided. The tree monster returned to its normal position like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, Lara White and others have collected enough listed resources, so they are not worried about the rankings, unlike Lara White. In her view, she is competing with Vincent Carey. Right now she has collected more than 10 listed resources. But still, she doesn't feel confident enough. Unless she turns upside down a whole magic forest, her heart won't rest at all. Inside the monitor room, Wizard Lion couldn't able to sit still. He hadn't expected Vincent to meet the tree monster. No level 4 wizards can kill the tree monster. The tree monster is rare existence as long as the wizards move around in a certain range. The tree monster won't able to do anything. But after seeing Vincent's magic spell, he was really worried. Worried that the sub-taboo magic spell might cause damage to the tree monster. But when he saw that Vincent backed away after collecting the few broken deadwood branches, he sighed in relief. He is happy that Vincent knows his limit. Now that kid tops the rank, a lion muttered to himself. The deadwood branch is an extremely important resource. Even a single branch can earn a lot of points. On top of it, Vincent still has a collection of other rare resources. Meanwhile, ads by Pup Future. I found some good spots to rest. Sitting on the rock, I viewed the time. There are still 6 hours left before the end of the competition. I don't know what others are doing. Sighing, I decided to check the status. I think my mana won't be able to support for me long. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power gravity. Mage level level 3 limiter. Mental method gravity arc running. Grade earth. Running mode automatic. Rate of absorption 82%. Gravity core status LVL.3 56%. Progressing. Sacred core gravity core. Mana power 97. Mana capacity 700. Talent top bottom upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength 272. Speed 274. Stamina 272. Vitality 230-44. Intelligence LVL.347. Soul power LVL.346. Mental power LVL.346. Constitution LVL.346. Sacred gravity physique LVL.2 17%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field LVL.3. 2. Gravity push LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items Magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and spell books, etc. Ads by PubFuture. A row of information appeared before my eyes. My eyes immediately scanned the details. Seeing that my mana power is pitifully low, a wry smile appeared on my face. The drop in vitality also caught my attention. It's not solved, I uttered in surprise. No wonder I feel so tired. Then I drank some potion again, hoping to get cured with this potion. If not, I'll have to ask Mentor Lion later. Then I took some low-grade mana stones for practice. My current mana power is not enough to withstand the current changes. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 2 hours, I opened my eyes. The mana stones in my palm lost their luster. Seeing that, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Feeling the energy brewing inside the mana core, I feel the mana power is full. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power gravity. Mage level level 3 limiter. Mental method gravity arc running. Grade earth. Running mode automatic. Rate of absorption 82%. Gravity core status LVL.3 56%. Progressing. Sacred core gravity core. Mana power 700. Mana capacity 700. Talent top bottom upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength 272. Speed 274. Stamina 272. Vitality 240-34. Intelligence LVL.347. Soul power LVL.346. Mental power LVL.346. Constitution LVL.346. Sacred gravity physique LVL.2 17%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field LVL.3. 2. Gravity push LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items Magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and spell books, etc. Seeing the full mana power and status. A hint of relief flashes in my eyes. The Yellow River Academy. After checking the status panel, I walked away from this place. I don't know whether the resource collected will be enough to top the rankings. For the first time, I have this confusion. If it was a combat trial, I can be sure of myself. But here, apart from having strength, you need knowledge and luck. When I looked at the list on my watch, my eye gleamed with a twinkle. Instead of roaming here and there, I decided to find the pond where the white lotus flower grows. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Crystal Pond. More than 3 hours later, I rechecked the list again. Right after leaving that dark water swamp, I had managed to find the white lotus flower and others resources on the way. The number of the white lotus was 10 in numbers. But I believe this number is enough to earn more points. The white lotus flower is a rare magical plant, so I was fortunate to find it quickly. When I was returning back from the crystal pond, I vaguely hear some noise. Hearing that, I quickly stopped my movements. The noise doesn't sound to be so simple. When I perked up my ears to listen, the sound seems to be more of a human conversation. There are others coming in my direction. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Swish! Right after, I disappeared from my spot and hid behind a nearby tree. Shortly after, I spotted a few inner house wizards coming together in two small groups. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I wasn't surprised by their appearance, but their topic of discussion intrigued me. After a couple of minutes, the group walked past me and headed straight toward the crystal pond. So these guys escaped from the attack of strange insects. Looking east, I muttered to myself, bugs? I couldn't help but think of the level 6 insect wizard from the Dark League. It will be interesting to see whether the bugs in this forest have any close resemblance. Then a quick gleam flashes in my eyes. The appearance of strange insects was not without any coincidence. There might be some resources there. Should I go there? I don't have any other clues besides this one, so I feel it's better to check that place. After gaining some clarity, I rushed toward the eastern direction. 30 minutes later, I reached the location, but the thing before me caught my eye. Deadwood branch, I uttered in surprise. Before me, there is a giant magic shade tree that stands tall. Down the ground, I see many roots from the tree spread in all directions. For a moment, I stood in silence. The tree doesn't seem to be so simple. I get a certain off vibe from it. Besides, I see no other living creatures nearby. It was a fluke to get the vine plant without any disturbance. Swish! When I was lost in thoughts, the branches from the tree suddenly moved. Seeing that, my heart skips a beat. Damn, it's a monster, I cursed under my breath. My doubts became immediately clear in my heart. Fortunately, I didn't move forward. The giant shade tree is itself a sleeping monster. I don't know whether I'm allowed to kill it or not, because the magic forest is a resource point of our academy. So the existence of the tree monster is must-have known to them. Yet they didn't kill the monster. After gaining some clarity, I decided to cut some branches before moving away from this place. Repulsive force, I cast the spell as I walked forward. A huge repulsive force released from my body. The next second, it swept away the nearby debris and rocks. Feeling the attack, the giant shade tree monster woke up. The trunk shook, causing some shockwaves across the surroundings. The repulsive force reached the giant shade tree, and out of nowhere one of the branches collided with the repulsive force. Boom! A terrible sound resonated throughout the whole area. The branch broke into pieces after the blow. Seeing that, my eyes flickered with a quick glint. I rushed to pick up the broken pieces. As I picked a few within a couple of seconds, I see another branch coming towards me. I realize the tree monster is slow in response. Then after glancing at other fallen pieces, I became hesitant. I really don't want to confront this rare monster. Then I retreated backward in a blink of an eye. It's pity that I couldn't able to collect all of the fallen branches. After taking a glance at the monster, I rushed away from this place. The tree monster swayed the branches in fierce anger, but it couldn't move its body to catch the enemy. After some time, the anger subsided. The tree monster returned to its normal position like nothing had happened. After recovering the mana, I made up my mind to search nearby areas before the competition comes to an end. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After a few hours, the special trail comes to an end. Right after, the blue tattoo on my wrist lit up. Swish! Before I could think of anything else, I disappeared from the spot and appeared back in the control room. When I opened my eyes, I saw the remaining students standing beside me. Everyone is coming in one by one from the teleportation. Then I see a hand stretching toward me out of nowhere. When I raised my head to see, I realized it was Mentor Lion. Then I see a deep green color potion in his hands. Here, take this potion. It will cure your poison, Lion said in a calm tone. Then a look of realization dawned upon me. He must have watched everyone's performance. I took the potion from his hand, and I opened the cork and drank it one at a time. When the energy entered my organ, I feel sudden changes like my cells are being rejuvenated. But I know it must be the effect of a healing potion. The poison must have been eliminated by now. Then I decided to check the system. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 56%. Progressing. Sacred Core, Gravity Core. Mana Power 700. Mana Capacity 700. Talent, Top Bottom, Upgradable. Color Pale Orange. Strength, 272. Speed, 274. Stamina, 272. Vitality, 274. Intelligence, LVL.347. Soul Power, LVL.346. Mental Power, LVL.346. Constitution LVL.346. Sacred Gravity Physique, LVL.2, 17%. Spell Models 6. 1. Gravity Field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity Push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity Pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity Blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive Force, LVL.3. 6. Zero Gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A row of information appeared before my eyes. My eyes immediately scanned the details. After seeing the vitality return back to normal, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. What a power potion! I recalled the deep green color of the healing potion. When I was lost in thoughts, I heard a sudden commotion. I retracted my thoughts and looked toward the right. At this time, Lara White appeared. There is a bright glow on her face. Facing the cheers from classmates, she remained indifferent. Right after, 2 more people appeared. With that, 20 or so people came back from the trial without any casualties. The Wizard Lion looked at everyone before nodding his head. Now it's time to calculate the points. All right, everyone. Stand in line according to your ranks. And hand over your resources one by one, Wizard Lion instructed. Meanwhile, I stepped forward and stood beside Lara White. Feeling my presence, she turned back to look at me. I met her gaze without showing many expressions on my face. Lara White gave a small snort in her heart. She doesn't believe that Vincent would surpass her, because she was fortunate enough to collect rare resources. As far as she remembers, she didn't waste any time in a magic forest. Most of the time she was met with opportunities, which gives her a strong sense of confidence. Meanwhile, a frown appeared on my face. What's with her attitude? If not for my decision to stay low-key, I would have taught her a lesson. But it's a pity. The politics inside the academy is too deep. There are multiple factions in it. I'm not even sure about my situation. I'm yet to see other sub-taboo wizards in my hall. Shaking my head, I pushed these thoughts behind my mind. Then I shifted my attention back to reality. I see Lara White placing several metal boxes on the table. Seeing that, I wasn't surprised. But when she continues to take a few more herb boxes, a strange glint flashes in my eyes. How come? I raised my eyebrows in surprise. I know how hard it is to look for the listed resources. But she had managed to collect this much. I couldn't help but think she might have appeared right in the middle of resource areas. Meanwhile, Wizard Lion glanced at the boxes on the table before nodding his head. He has seen Lara's performance. When Lara placed the final box on the table, gasp! The rest of the crowd let out a loud exclamation. From the beginning, the rest of the wizards widened their eyes in disbelief. Unlike Vincent, they weren't able to control their envy and jealousy. Then before everyone's gazes, Wizard Lion began to count the herbs. When he opened the box to inspect it, a rare clover leaf came into view. Feeling the magic power in it, he slightly nodded his head, because the magic flower was carefully handled. 10 minutes later, Wizard Lion finished counting the last herb. He said, 5,000 points. Gasp! Another loud gasp resonated inside the room. Lara White's eyes flickered with a happy glint. She knew the rare magic herbs worth high points. TCK, she scored again. Now, no one can surpass this point. Hey, what kind of SHT luck is this? The rest of the wizards began to murmur. For them, it had been very difficult to find the resource area itself. But right after seeing Lara's resources, many people don't know how to react for a while. Next, Wizard Lion uttered. Lara White stepped aside and I walked forward. My appearance immediately drew everyone's attention. Now they will start to compare the two of us. Before Mentor Lion's gaze, I took out the metal boxes one by one and placed them on the table. Meanwhile, Lara White and others are staring at Vincent. They also want to see how many resources he has collected. When I place the last resource on the table, Mentor Lion starts to count. Seeing that I remained silent, I have vaguely calculated some points in my heart, but I don't know whether it is close enough to Lara White's points. I know everyone is looking forward to seeing the result, but this time I'm clueless. At the same time, Lara White focused on the magic herbs on the table. When she saw a dark water lily, a strange glint flashed in her eyes. She recalled passing by the dark water swamp in the magic forest. At that time there was no sign of dark water lilies, but now she knows the answer. Time passes. One by one Lara White identified the magic resources, but her pupil shrank upon seeing the deadwood branch. Gasp! A loud gasp sounded in the room. She and people with little knowledge know about the deadwood branch. They know that it was a branch of a tree monster, but it is very hard to find the whereabouts of the tree monster. But right now, seeing the deadwood branch, everyone looked at Vincent in disbelief. 10 minutes later, Mentor Lion said, 5,500 points. A hint of relief flashes in my eyes. Right after the commotion quieted down, before the appearance of a deadwood tree branch, everyone was optimistic about Lara White. Now the situation has turned. Vincent managed to take the lead in the end. Lara White's expression becomes gloomy. She was sure earlier, but the appearance of a deadwood branch caught her off guard. A complicated emotion flashes in her eyes. She wants to leave this place right now. Time passed. 1 hour later, Wizard Lion announced the new special class rankings. This time I took first place again, followed by Lara White in the second rank position and others. With the announcement of the result, the class comes to an end. Right after, I left the special class and went to the dorm. After a few minutes, I appeared back in my room. My body wants me to take some long rest. Before doing that, I went to take a long shower. Meanwhile, Lara White taught her dorm room as well. Now it's nighttime and everyone is sleeping. Otherwise, she would have gone back to the taboo hall. Even after getting freshened up, she can't get rid of the frustration. She did well in the special trial, but the single deadwood branch ruined her plan. She remembers how she gave a provocative look to Vincent right before the trail, but the other party didn't react at all. Her face became hot in embarrassment. Finally, she calmed down after some struggles. Next, to redeem her face, she has to look for opportunities. Now the whole inner house is looking forward to the duel between Vincent and the Bloodline Wizard. She made up her mind to plan something right after the duel. The following day, after waking up from sleep, I began to start my morning routine. Then I sat down for meditation a few minutes later. Tomorrow is going to be an important day. I have an official duel with the Bloodline Hall's wizard. In this matter, I can't let down the sub-taboo hall. After gaining some clarity, I began to run the gravity arc method. Slowly, the gray color mana entered my body. Then I started to guide the mana particles according to the mental method. After the circulation, the mana settles down in the mana core. Seeing that, I started to repeat the process. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later, feeling surging energy in my mana core. A hint of satisfaction flashes in my eyes. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 60%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 275. Speed, 277. Stamina, 275. Vitality, 277. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 20%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, potions, and spell books, etc., A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. After going through the information, I closed the panel. I have the utmost belief in my gravity magic. Even Clifton Cox gets a bloodline boost. His strength can't withstand the power of my overpowered gravity magic. Apart from 4 attributes, others have touched the limit. If I could raise the core progression rate, then I will soon get the opportunity to reach the next level. Then I got up from the seat and started to get ready. I want to go to the dining hall with Senior Carolina. A few minutes later, I left the room wearing the red magic robe on top of my shirt. When I headed toward the academy, I came across the Bloodline Hall wizards. Seeing them, my mouth twitched. Coming across twice in a row is certainly not a coincidence. Are they here to watch my movements? A doubt rose in my heart. Then, shaking my head, I walked into the building. I took the magic booth for travel. Shortly, I arrived before the sub-taboo hall. As usual, after the verification, I stepped inside hell. When I turned to the right side, I spotted the familiar person behind the desk. Feeling my gaze, she raised her gaze at me. "You did it again," Carolina said with a smile. "Now, I can say there was no one in the special class stronger than you," Carolina added. "You forgot about one person," I said while walking forward to sit down. Carolina blinked her beautiful eyes. She recalled the familiar person in her mind. "Lara White," she uttered in surprise. "Don't worry, I don't think there will be any duel between you two," Carolina replied. To that I smiled in response. But in my heart, I recalled her expression of Lara. Lara White had fighting intent in her eyes. If there is truly any opportunity present, I don't think she will deny it. Then, removing this thought, I focused on browsing the news. I opened my student account to see what's happening online. It is an immediate way to check the information. Meanwhile, Carolina is data entering something. After a few seconds, she turned toward Vincent and said, "All right, we can leave now." Then we both walked toward the dining hall. Carolina remembered something. She said, "Vincent, tomorrow your wish will come true." "What do you mean?" I raised my eyebrows in surprise. "Senior Gilbert is coming to watch the duel. If my guess is correct, there will be others. Because this is an official match between 2 halls," Carolina replied. A look of understanding dawned upon me. A complicated emotion flashes in her eyes before it disappears. She said in a low voice, "You have to win tomorrow. Not all of our seniors are pleasing like Senior Gilbert. Some don't like losing face in front of the Bloodline Hall. So you have to be careful," Carolina added. I slightly nodded my head. But I'm wondering about the location in my heart. I asked, "Senior, where will the duel take place?" Since it's going to be an official match, I don't think the duel place will be ordinary. Carolina's eyes lit up immediately. She replied, "There is a battle arena for the official matchup." After saying that, she looked at Vincent before adding, "Tomorrow, not only wizards from our 2 hall will present. There will be others as well." I raised my eyebrows in surprise. "Are you saying I'm going to battle in front of the entire 12 wizards' halls?" I asked out in surprise. Carolina's mouth curved into a beautiful arc. She nodded her head in surprise. But in my heart, I was secretly shocked. "So I'm going to be famous tomorrow. I don't know whether it's good or bad. But anyway, if I can get in touch with strong people, this will be helpful for my future development." Time passes in a blink of an eye. After having morning breakfast, I immediately went to the library. I want to learn about the pros and cons of a bloodline wizard. In particular, I heard that guy is carrying the blood of an ancient lizard in his body. So I want to learn about the ancient lizard as well. Because I don't want to get hit by a surprise attack like poison or a mental attack. After a few minutes, I came to the library. The first thing I did was to access the books about Bloodline Wizard. My appearance immediately caught the attention of others. From the many online posts, I have learned that the news about the special rank was already spread across the inner house wizard. But the comments were filled with mixed reactions. Apart from the special class students, no one gives SHT about the special class ranking. Especially the old wizards in particular. They don't think they were weak in front of seed wizards from the special class. Ignoring their gazes, I quickly found a few books. I sat on a nearby seat and began to read the book. Meanwhile, Clifton Cox is receiving the news from his groups. He asked, "What's he doing?" "Boss, he is studying in the library," one of the Bloodline wizards replied. They all knew Vincent's current whereabouts. "Library?" Clifton Cox muttered to himself. He doesn't like Vincent's relaxed attitude. He asked again, "Have you guys seen it?" "What is he reading?" He asked it casually. But he did not expect to get a reply from his men. Boss, he is in the bloodline section of the library. Bloodline section? Clifton Cox sneered inside. He now understands Vincent wants to find some loophole. Well, doesn't it mean? Vincent is scared, he said in his heart. Because of this uneasiness, his heart immediately sweats away. He is confident of defeating Vincent tomorrow. Apart from the Subtaboo Hall and the Bloodline Hall, the other 10 halls also discuss the topic, because it is not an everyday scene to see the official duel between the halls. Meanwhile, ancient lizards? The information in the book caught my attention. Seeing that, I immediately began to go through the information. After a few minutes, a strange glint flashes in my eyes. There are different types of ancient lizards, but the golden lizard seems to be a variable of a particular sort. Sigh, I let out a deep sigh. Like other bloodline wizards, the ancient lizard bloodline also seems to provide a strong boost. In particular, adding a boost to the constitution, which in turn increases the strength and defense. I held up my chin in contemplation. Before coming here, I was worried about encountering special skills like poison or mental attack. But after going through some of the information, I can confirm that the golden lizard doesn't seem to have poison power or is mentally related to power. It purely gives a boost to the constitution. A hint of clarity appeared in my eyes. After closing the book, I decided to leave the library. The current information is enough. After placing the several books back in the rack, I left the library. Several minutes later, I appeared back in my room. I sat down and decided to read the gravity-related wizard books. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 1 hour, I closed the book. Then I decided to start to read another book. Yellow River Academy. All wizard halls are very seriously discussing tomorrow's duel. On the surface, it's just a small matchup between the 2 inner house wizards. But only higher-level wizards were aware that things were not that simple. The Bloodline Hall made up a challenge against the Subtaboo Hall. This shows involuntarily poking the interest of the Subtaboo. If the Subtaboo Hall failed to win the challenge, then the Bloodline Hall would reap the benefits. So people with knowledge silently look forward to tomorrow's duel. Meanwhile, Carolina, who is spending time in the Subtaboo Hall, suddenly receives a call from the True House Wizard. Seeing that, she immediately attended the call. "Senior Gilbert, are you back?" Carolina asked. On top of her communication watch, the holographic projection of a middle-aged person appeared. He is none other than Wizard Gilbert Reese. Facing Carolina, he slightly nodded his head before asking about Vincent Carey. Gilbert asked, "Does he have the confidence to defeat the Bloodline Wizard?" Gilbert furrowed his eyebrows. He only recently heard about the challenge post. He does not doubt that this was one of the calculations of the Bloodline maniacs. They can't afford to touch the higher-ups of the Subtaboo Wizard, so they can only come up with such a low-level method. Carolina saw through Gilbert's mood. She couldn't help but start panicking in her heart. She knows tomorrow's duel involves the face of the Subtaboo Hall. Ahem, Senior. Vincent is strong. He is a level 3 wizard right now, and his strength seems to have improved since breakthrough. After saying that, she spoke about the special trial. There was a small silence for a moment. Gilbert seems to be in some kind of dilemma. He knows about Vincent's gravity magic, but he is more concerned with the variables of bloodline magic. Bloodline wizards can boost their strength in the middle of the battlefield, so their overall attributes would be much higher. And Vincent is just a level 3 wizard. His attributes can't be compared to the bloodline wizard. But seeing the confidence in Carolina's eyes, sighed inwardly. He knows this matchup has nothing to do with Carolina or Vincent, but they were dragged into the Bloodline Hall schemes. He hopes that Vincent can turn around the situation tomorrow. Thinking about some true wizard pests in the Bloodline Hall, his eyes burst out with a cold glint. Gilbert made up his mind to deal with them privately. "All right, see you tomorrow." After saying that, he ended the call. Only after seeing a blank projection, she reached relief. I was right. Tomorrow's duel involves many things, she muttered to herself. And she felt glad she reminded Vincent about this in the morning. After seeing Vincent's various performances, including the battle tower and the special class trial, Carolina has immense confidence in Vincent. On the other hand, "Teacher, whom do you think will win tomorrow?" Lara White asked, looking at her teacher, Kate Cohen's. Right now, Lara is in Kate Cohen's place, so she felt she could talk freely. Kate furrowed her beautiful eyebrows. She remembers Vincent's background. Back in that small town, Vincent even had attracted the attention of the Dark League. So knowingly or unknowingly, Vincent was always in the center of the storm. She thought after joining the academy the situation would change. But still, Vincent was in the limelight. First, there is an identity as a seed candidate. Then there are battle tower rankings. Now he leads the #1 ranking in both the outer house and inner house. After recalling the events, she sighed inwardly. Looking at her student, she replied, I don't know clearly. But after recalling some past incidents, I think that kid can fight across ranks. So he has no trouble facing a level 4 wizard. But a hint of complicated emotions flashes in her eyes. Lara bit her lips. She said, Teacher, what are you saying? It's difficult against a bloodline wizard. Kate Cohen's nodded her head, seeing that Lara fell silent. Even she has this doubt in her heart. How come Vincent is going to overcome the bloodline boost? Kate saw through her thoughts. Don't worry, the small setbacks won't affect the kid, Kate Cohen said with a sigh. Lara White became flustered all of a sudden. Teacher, I'm not worried about him. I just don't like Bloodline Hall's methods, she refuted immediately. A strange glint flashes in Kate's eyes. She uttered, all right, I know. But nobody can tell what she is thinking in her mind. Bloodline Hall. Clifton Cox standing in front of 2 giant existences. Facing them he couldn't help but sweat profusely. Damn it, the bloodline suppression is killing me, Clifton Cox cursed in his heart. 2 of them were true house wizards of the Bloodline Hall. Right now they summoned Clifton to see whether he is ready for tomorrow's duel or not. What's your bloodline? One of the true house wizards with green hair asked in a stern tone. Clifton Cox feels a wave of humiliation in his heart. He knew people with pure bloodlines were more valuable than others. And what about pure bloodline wizards? Only noble or ancient monsters got pure bloodline. His ancient golden lizard bloodline is not inferior in any way. Suppressing the anger in his heart, he said, Ancient golden lizard. What ancient? Your bloodline deserves that name, the green-haired wizard sneered. At this time, the true house wizard beside him opened his eyes. 2 vertical slits can be seen in his pupils. Clifton's heart boiled in anger. He can't even voice out his dissatisfaction. Because these 2 were level 6 bloodline wizards. Among the true house wizards, these 2 are said to be elites. The wizard with snake pupils hissed and said, Your bloodline purity is not enough. But I think it's enough to handle a single level 3 wizard. The green-haired wizard remained silent hearing that. Since his friends want to speak, he decided not to interfere. Seeing the calm face of Clifton, the wizard with snake pupils said in a cold tone, You know, you proposed this official duel. If you fail to win tomorrow, then the consequences will be severe. Even the true house wizard from your clan won't be able to support you. Clifton's pupils shrank. A cold shiver went down his spine. He initially wanted to be down arrogant Vincent, but unknowingly his duel was used as some kind of game plan by his higher-ups. He couldn't help but regret his decision at the moment. He doesn't want to be used as a pawn by anyone, especially other bloodline wizards. But now it's too late, he can only go with the flow. I will win, Clifton Cox answered in a calm tone. Hearing that, the wizard with snake pupil hissed again. I know you can win with your current ability. But for some insurance, you have to take this potion when you hit the dead end in the duel tomorrow. After saying that, he handed over a pitch-black potion. Seeing the pure black liquid squirming inside the bottle, a bad premonition appeared in Clifton's heart. What is this? He asked out in confusion while accepting the black potion bottle. The wizard with a snake pupil hissed. He didn't plan on revealing the potion. Instead, he said, This is something that can guarantee your victory tomorrow. Clifton stood in a daze. He knows it's impossible to get the truth from these people. After assuring them, he left the place. Seeing his disappearing back, the green-haired wizard asked, Are you sure Gilbert will come tomorrow to watch the duel? The wizard with snake pupils hissed and said, Of course he will come. He is the senior of the Subtabu Hall. He won't let anything bad happen to his juniors. Thinking about tomorrow's fun, 2 of them laughed out loud. The following day, 5 a.m. After completing the morning routine, I sat down for meditation. 3 hours have gone in a blink of an eye. Then feeling the familiar energy inside the mana core, my mouth curved into an arc. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 63%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 278. Speed, 280. Stamina, 278. Vitality, 280. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 26%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. After scanning the details, I nodded in satisfaction. Somewhere in an isolated place of the Yellow River Academy, a massive colossal duel arena is located. The dueling ground is oval and it was surrounded by spectator spots. The spectator spots were divided into 12 separate spots. Each spot is for one wizard hall in the academy. Apart from the spectator spot, there is a wide monitor room above the southern part of the spectator section. Only people belonging to the Elder House and above were allowed in this room. Right now, wizards from various halls start to come in. They immediately went to the seated area belonging to their respective areas. As time goes on, the seats start to fill in. The majority of the spectators were members of Inner House. Because the duel is happening between the two Inner House wizards, the Outer House wizards are not allowed in. Because they are not part of the academy in the true sense. They have to become Inner House members before accessing various facilities. 30 minutes later, the first seated area to be filled with wizards was the group belonging to the Mechanical Hall. They are sitting under the banner of Mechanical Hall. Right after, the wizards from the Transformation Hall start to occupy the sea fast. Wizards from these two halls first started their encounter with the sub-taboo wizard Vincent Carey. The majority of Vincent's online popularity is because of the wizards from these two halls. After another half and 4 wizards from 6 major halls came to watch the duel. Still, there is some time left before the duel. The appearance of the other 6 halls is expected to happen. Meanwhile, Clifton Cox is getting ready inside the Bloodline Hall. Boss, some of our wizards are already left for the duel arena, one of his men said hurriedly. A strange glint flashes in Clifton's eyes. After yesterday's return from meeting the True House Wizard, he is not thinking of himself at all. He knows he has fallen into the trap of the seniors and there was no room for negotiation. He was thinking about challenging Vincent for fun earlier. Now his higher-ups don't want to see any room for failure. For that, they have given him the unknown potion. He knows deep in his heart that consuming that liquid will end up no good for him. There is a certain possibility of damaging his potential for a moment. But if he doesn't act according to their will, then his future survival would be difficult here. And he knows the character of those 2 True House wizards. They will do anything to kill him if he steps outside of the academy. He remembers their warning that not even the clan senior can help him. As these gloomy thoughts flash in his heart, he feels a little sad. But again he has confidence in his strength. He is a level 4 ancient golden bloodline wizard. And Vincent Carey is a newcomer. Even sub-taboo magic needs a period of growth. Certainly, for Vincent, his matchup is too early. So Clifton is betting hope on this logic. Though Vincent's record in the battle tower is suffocating, he believes that must be due to fighting across ranks. That can't change the strength of the level 3 wizard. The difference in strength between level 3 wizards and level 4 wizards is known to everyone. Harumph, I don't think he can simply overcome the gap in strength, Clifton said with a snort. Now that he thinks about it, his earlier gloominess in his heart was completely swept away at this moment. He looked at his men and said, "Let's go, I don't want to waste any time here." After saying that, he left with his men. Sub-taboo hall. On the other hand, 2 people are waiting for Vincent to appear. One is the senior sister Carolina Slate, level 4 deadly vine wizard. And then another one is Mark Talley, a level 5 plague wizard. He is one of the 2 core members of Sub-taboo wizard. Junior sister, where is our new junior brother? Mark Talley asked. Mark Talley appeared to be in his early 20s. He has black hair and eyes. His skin tone is pale and appears to be bloodless. But it's something to do with his plague magic, which is causing his body to look like he is suffering from illness. He wore a normal black shirt and pants with a coat on top of it. He stands 6 feet tall in height. Right now his cold eyes scan the entrance. He had long since heard of his new junior brother who got rare gravity magic. He is also aware that gravity magic has a special link to the academy. It has something to do with a late ancestor in his history. Knowing all of this stuff, he can't wait to see the style of his junior brother. Carolina stood in a daze. She had never expected the senior to appear. Senior Mark is a reserved person, usually not talkative. This time what happened? He came to see junior brother Vincent. Senior Mark, don't worry. Vincent will be here soon, she said with a smile. Mark Tally adjusted his black coat before nodding his head. Suddenly he recalled something. He knows this duel is an official duel. He doesn't know how this new junior brother had offended the Bloodline Hall. Now that the duel has become official, he is sure that his seniors won't stand behind the scenes. Especially when it comes to the antics of Bloodline Hall. Seniors won't tolerate it at all. He then turned toward Carolina and asked, "What about our seniors? Are any of them coming?" Carolina smiled and said, "Senior Gilbert might come to watch the duel." Senior Gilbert? Mark Tally exclaimed in surprise. He knows Senior Gilbert. Normally, true house wizard won't visit the hall much often, because they are busy focusing on their wizard path. He had never expected Senior Gilbert to allocate time for this small duel. He held up his chin in contemplation. Carolina observed Mark's expression from the corner of her eyes. Her cunning eyes quickly saw through his thoughts. He must be puzzled, she said in her heart. Senior brother, you must be wondering about Senior Gilbert, she said to Mark. Oh, Mark Tally raised his eyebrows in surprise. Then Carolina told what happened between Vincent and the Bloodline Wizard. After a few minutes, Mark Tally widened his eyes in surprise. No wonder Senior is willing to appear, Mark Tally uttered in surprise. Now that he knows the information, the Bloodline Wizards can do some tricks behind the scenes. Back in the duel arena, almost 2/3 of the duel arena is filled with wizards. Now apart from the Bloodline Hall and the Subtaboo Hall, every other hall had at least 1 or 2 members in the gallery. Suddenly, the atmosphere inside the arena quieted down all of a sudden. Because of the direction of the Bloodline Hall, the wizards start to come in. Seeing that everyone wanted to see the silhouette of Clifton Cox. But as time goes on, the other Bloodline wizards start to come in. But there was no silhouette of Clifton Cox. Seeing that everyone shifted their attention to the ground, everyone wants to see whether Clifton would appear below. At this moment, 2 more people appeared in the direction of the Bloodline Hall. They were none other than the true house wizard of the Bloodline Hall. The green-haired wizard looked in the direction of the Subtaboo Hall, but the gallery there looked empty without people. Realizing that they were the first ones to appear, he gave a cold snort in his heart. The wizard with snake pupils also looked in that direction. Seeing those empty seats, he hissed a little bit. The beat starts from the Subtaboo Hall where arrogant as usual, the green-haired wizard said in a cold tone. When he turned toward Taboo Hall direction, there was at least 1 person seated, who is none other than Lara White. Apart from her, no one was interested in the duel, and the Taboo Hall has fewer members. So the appearance of Lara White attracted a lot of attention. Meanwhile, Lara White was stunned. I'm the only one here, she muttered to herself in shock. Seeing a lot of gazes on her, she suddenly regrets her decision to come here. She thought it was just a normal duel. She had never expected to see the sea of crowds, especially when her gaze turned toward the Subtaboo Hall. She lost her composure, because there was no one there. Her heart suddenly boils in anger. How come everyone here except the Subtaboo Hall? She feels this too much. But she also knows that the time for the duel has not arrived yet. But thinking about it involves the face of her hall. She couldn't control her inner anger. Now everyone will think that people from Taboo Hall came before Subtaboo Hall. Don't know what message it will send? She quickly suppressed her dissatisfaction. Seeing that it's getting late for the duel, I left the dorm room and walked toward the Subtaboo Hall. After a few minutes, I arrived at the hall. After scanning my details, I stepped into the room. Immediately, I was greeted by a person in his early 20s. But my instinct alarms me of danger. Before I could speak, the person introduced himself. Mark Tally, level 5 Plague Wizard. Core House member of the Academy. I repeated the words in my mind. But what about the magic? It sounds way more deadly than other death attribute magics. Plague? No wonder I feel a sense of threat from him. Shouldn't he be in Taboo Hall? Why is his magic considered sub-taboo? Lot of questions appeared in my mind. But I know this is not time for the talk. Finally, after knowing he is my senior, I relaxed my guard the next moment. I should have known. Sister Carolina had already been informed about this. Then from the corner of my eyes, I also noticed the presence of Sister Carolina. Vincent, you are late, Carolina Slate said with a smile. Ahem, my bad. I was reading some wizardry books, I replied with a half smile on my face. Mark Tally was intrigued. He finds the younger brother of his had a good temperament. He said, let's go, why are we waiting then? Carolina nodded her head. Then she immediately texted the news back to Wizard Gilbert Reese. 3 of us left the hall the next moment. Then we found the nearest magic booth room for travel. After getting inside, Sister Carolina selected the destination. A strange glint flashes in my eyes. I know the dual place is located in a separate space like Battle Tower in the special class environment. Mark Tally seemed to think of something. He advised Vincent, beware of that bloodline wizard's tricks. Don't stretch the duel, finish it as soon as possible. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Senior Mark seems to be optimistic about me. Unlike Senior Gilbert, he is a lot younger. So I feel more connected with him. All right, Senior brother, I replied in a calm tone. But in my heart, I calculated to finish the duel quickly as well. Because I'm not good and righteous. And I don't want to get caught off guard by an unpredictable bloodline boost. A few minutes later, we walked out of the magic booth. In front of me is a colossal arena. This magnificent view is breathtaking. I almost forgot about myself and stood in the same spot for a moment. Seeing the scene, Carolina chuckled. Mark Tally revealed a small smile on his face. He said, looks like our younger brother didn't visit a lot of places in the academy. When his words reached my ears, I returned to reality. I turned toward him and answered, yeah, it's true. The special classes took all of my time. Mark Tally's eyes flickered with a slight glint. He was aware of the academy's small training program. But for what purposes it's not clear yet. He knows the academy won't do anything without any reason. He strongly feels that upcoming days won't be peaceful. Then 3 of us head towards the entrance. After arriving at the entrance, we found staff waiting for us. Rather, I would say they are waiting for me. Are you Vincent Carey? The leading male staff asked. To that I simply nodded my head. Well, you can come with me. It's almost time for the start of the duel, the staff added. Hearing that, I turned toward my seniors. After speaking to them, I followed the staff to enter the arena, while seniors walked towards the gallery. Meanwhile, a few minutes ago, the atmosphere inside the duel arena is solemn, because except for one party which is Bloodline Hall, there was no sign of Subtaboo Hall members' appearance yet. Some even started to guess that Subtaboo Hall somehow abandoned the match, because the duel challenger, Clifton Cox, is already standing in the middle of the duel arena in front of everyone's gazes. He is waiting for the opponent to arrive. TCK, what's taking them so long? The green-haired wizard in the Bloodline Hall section mumbled under his breath. Beside him, the wizard with snake pupils glances at his watch from time to time. He had already placed his men in front of Subtaboo Hall. Beep! The next moment, he received the message from his eyeliner. His snake pupil stared at the message before he hissed. After closing the message, he said, they are coming. Hearing that, the green-haired wizard eases down his eyebrows. Dual platform. Clifton Cox standing in daze on the dual platform. He feels like stupid. He came here to finish the duel in a short amount of time and then go back to his place. But the Subtaboo Hall's behavior is pissing him off. Is it him or his seniors? His eyes flickered with cold glint. He knows the Subtaboo wizards are not pushovers. Like the 2 elite wizards on his side today, the Subtaboo must have seniors keeping any eye on this duel. Just as he was starting to get impatient, he noticed the change in people's commotion. He immediately shifted his attention toward the Subtaboo Hall gallery. Then he saw the appearance of 2 wizards. He instantly recognized them. 2 of them are famous Subtaboo Hall wizards. One of them is known for her deadly strangulation, and the other one is simply a messenger of death. Deadly Vino Wizard? Plague Wizard? Clifton Cox's expression condensed. He knows if these 2 are here, then Vincent must be here. He then shifted his attention toward the opposite entrance. Meanwhile, the crowd also noticed the appearance of people in the Subtaboo gallery. The green-haired wizard and the wizard with snake pupils looking for a certain someone to appear. Why are these 2 young pups here? But there is no sign of Gilbert. The green-haired wizard's face turned ugly. They had expected to see Wizard Gilbert Reese, but seeing that the other one didn't appear at all, now they are looking like fools. The wizard with snake pupils hissed before saying, wait, he will definitely appear. How do you say so? The green-haired wizard asked. The wizard with snake pupils revealed a cold smile on his face before uttering a few words. Hearing that, a look of understanding dawned upon him. These two gave a certain potion to Clifton Cox. They knew what would happen after consumption of that potion. If no one intervenes in this duel, then the Gravity Wizard Kid would die for sure, which is a win-win situation for their sub-taboo hall. Only a true house wizard and above can intervene in this duel. Even if Gilbert decides to appear, they know how to block him. At the same time, Lara White looks at the sub-taboo gallery. Seeing the appearance of the two wizards, she couldn't help but recall their information in her mind. One is an inner house wizard like her, and the other is a famous person in both taboo hall and sub-taboo. Because plague magic is a controversial topic, no one knows how to categorize this magic. She remembers the discussion of their seniors. Plague magic is extremely dangerous magic. It should be classified as taboo. But not all of the higher management people were convinced because of some untold reasons. So that senior is now studying under the banner of sub-taboo hall. Seeing that Vincent got two powerful supporters, she feels a little lost. Because she came here alone. The seniors in her hall are not talkative. Most of it stems from the arrogance of taboo magic. Many seniors in her hall think that taboo magic is superior magic, and they don't need to have conversations with others. Thanks to the special class, she got the opportunity to interact with other inner house wizards. Otherwise, she would have walked the path of the seniors. Recalling another horrible conversation, she sighed to herself. Next, her gaze fell on the duel stage. She is looking forward to the appearance of Vincent Carey. Meanwhile, the staff wanted me to sign some documents before the duel. Since it's an official duel, the final procedures need to be carried out. When I was viewing the digital document, suddenly, I feel someone standing behind me. The appearance was so sudden, but I feel no malice. Otherwise, the system would have warned me. When I turned back, I recognized the person immediately. Senior Gilbert? I exclaimed in surprise. I had never expected to meet Wizard Gilbert here. This came as a pleasant surprise. Wizard Gilbert revealed a smile on his face before saying, "Looks like your strength has improved further." His eyes scan Vincent's body. A hint of surprise flashes in his eye. He feels Vincent is stronger than he had imagined. Then he slowly said, "I came here to give you this thing." After saying that, he handed over a circular magic pendant. Embark on an adventure to the origins at NOVROLSS and hashtag. Senior, what is this? I received the circular pendant from him. It's a defensive magic artifact. It can even withstand the blow from a level 6 wizard, Gilbert said plainly. My heart set off storms. Duel arena. Magic artifact, I said in my heart. I had never expected Senior Gilbert to give me such an expensive pendant. From this alone, I can say that he is worried about the duel. Does the Bloodline Hall plan to do some tricks? My eyes flickered with a cold glint. Then looking at Senior Gilbert, I said, "Senior, thanks for the artifact. But don't worry, I will take care of that Bloodline wizard." A hint of surprise flashes in his eyes. He slightly nodded his head and said, "All right, you can go now. I will be watching your performance." Hearing that, I nodded my head before following the staff toward the entrance. A couple of seconds later, I see a bright light coming from the other end. When we reached the entrance, the staff stopped his movements and let me in. Seeing that, I stepped inside the duel arena. Gasp! Right after, I hear people's exclamations. I feel a lot of heaving gazes on me. Some of them were even heavy. Like a true powerhouse, existence is staring at me in the dark. I hope this won't affect the duel. Then ignoring their gazes and walked toward the center platform where someone already waiting for me. Meanwhile, Clifton Cox revealed a cold smile on his face. Seeing his evil smile, I sneered inside. It will be a matter of time before he is pressed under the ground. I want to see how he is going to smile then. So in response, I didn't show much expression and slowly walked forward and stood opposite him. From the corner of my eyes, I recognized the Bloodline Hall banner. Sister Carolina and Senior Mark came here to support me. Right at this moment, one more person appeared. He is none other than Senior Gilbert. His appearance caused another wave of commotion. So much so that Clifton Cox turned his back to see him. "Harumph, what's so good about the support?" "I'll beat you down in front of the whole crowd," Clifton Cox said with a snort. His words reached my ears. I shifted my attention back to him. This person is another arrogant clown. But I want to know who gave him the idea of an official challenge post. Senior Gilbert's advice once again comes to mind. "It's okay to be careful," I said in my heart. Suddenly, a loud voice reached everyone's ears. It's the official announcement. The Bloodline Hall's Clifton Cox and the Subtaboo Hall's Vincent Carey's official duel starts in 5 minutes. Killings are strictly forbidden. Right after the announcement, the atmosphere quieted down a little. Everyone knows that the duel starts now. A magic barrier immediately began to envelop the dueling ground. The magic barrier prevents the spell attacks, so that the spectator can be safe. Meanwhile, I glanced around the barrier for a moment before my gaze fell on Clifton Cox. I used the system to scan his details. After scanning the details, a dignified color appeared in my eyes. This guy is close to touching the level 5 barrier limit. My attributes were indeed lower compared to his. If it's a pure fist fight, then I would lose in a few moves. But fortunately, I'm not betting on my attributes. From the beginning, I've been thinking of ending the duel using overpowering gravity magic. Meanwhile, the green-haired wizard and wizard with snake pupils noticed the appearance of Wizard Gilbert Reese. Ha ha ha, Gilbert is here. The green-haired wizard burst into joyful laughter. The wizard with snake pupils revealed a cold smile on his face. These two have been waiting for this moment. They want to damage the image of Subtaboo Hall in front of Gilbert Reese. And when it comes to the kid on the ground, they don't think a trifling level 3 wizard is capable of defeating a level 4 bloodline wizard. On top of it, they have given a black potion for insurance. Two of them can't wait for the duel to start. On the other hand, Gilbert Reese also spotted the annoying Beatsfards from the Bloodline Hall. From their expressions alone, he can infer a lot of things. Carolina Slate was delighted by Senior Gilbert's appearance. Senior Gilbert is a true house wizard. It's rare for him to take some time to support. Senior Gilbert, what do you think of this duel? Mark Talley asked. It's been a long time since he had met the senior. He wants to talk a lot. Gilbert Reese's eyes flickered with a slight glint. The image of Vincent's confident look comes to mind. He answered, I think our junior brother will give us some surprise. Oh, Mark Talley's eyes lit up in surprise. He was surprised to hear such a high evaluation, which made him further intrigued to watch the duel. Carolina's face is full of smiles. She has the utmost trust in Batter Tower rankings. If Vincent can do it there, then he can defeat the Bloodline Wizard. At the same time, Lara White pushed down her thoughts and started at the duel stage. She wants to see how Vincent is going to fight. She had wanted to challenge Vincent earlier, but there was no perfect opportunity. Everyone was occupied with trials. Now that the duel is happening, she has a chance to see Vincent's cards. Similarly, other halls were paying attention to this duel. The duel starts now? When another announcement came, I see Clifton making a move. I simply uttered, gravity field. Right after the spell casting, a tremendous gravitational force descends on the stage. Crack? I released overpowering gravity magic. Under the heavy pressure, the platform cracked instantly. Clifton Cox suffered a heavy blow from above. The force was so fast that he wasn't able to think of anything else. Dude. Right after he crashed into the ground, his entire face is kissing the tiles of the duel stage. This awkward scene didn't go unnoticed by everyone's eyes. Clifton Cox finally gains a trace of clarity. His face was written with horror. For the first time, he understands the meaning behind the gravity magic. His entire body is screaming at him in pain. The gravity force was so huge that he wasn't even able to stimulate his bloodline. Suddenly the pressure was doubled. PFFF. He coughed up blood in pain. Bloodline wizards are known for having strong attributes besides the power-type wizards. But now he could hear the crackling of the bones. A wave of anger and humiliation appeared in his heart. Suddenly, the image of two true house bloodline wizards comes to mind. His entire body shuddered even under pressure. No, I can't lose, he shouted in his heart. At the same time, seeing the flattened body of Clifton Cox, my mouth curved into an arc. This all happened in a blink of an eye. Gasp! The entire crowd remained silent. The result was beyond their beliefs. Clifton Cox's situation is now miserable. He wasn't even able to lift his magic. The crowd showed a myriad of reactions. The Bloodline Hall gallery. The green-haired wizard's face turned ugly. We underestimated this kid, the wizard with snake pupils said in a solemn tone. Taboo and subtaboo magics are not simple, the green wizard replied in a grim tone. When it comes to duels, these are two things. The first one is the wizard level, and the second one is the wizard's magic. Right now, Vincent is purely dominating the duel relying on his magic, which left the crowd speechless. Subtaboo gallery. Mark Talley's mouth twitched. He knows it's an instant kill. But because of the rules, his junior brother is showing some restraint. Junior brother Vincent is really powerful, Carolina said with a smile. The match ended before they could think. She couldn't help but reveal a smile thinking about the concern shown by Senior Gilbert. This? Gilbert Reese looked stunned. After some seconds, a trace of clarity appeared in his eyes. Gravity magic contains a lot of mysteries. It's one of the magic related to the starry sky. Now he understands why his junior brother can fight across ranks. This is simply overkill. To defeat his junior brother Vincent, one must catch him before he casts the spell. Gilbert Reese doesn't know that his thoughts would be shared by powerful wizards decades later. Taboo Gallery. Lara White got up from her seat. This time her eyes were calm and crystal clear. There was no previous contempt or disdain. Even she forgets about Vincent's suspicious talent grade. Now she knows where Vincent gets all his strength from him. His gravity magic is too overbearing. She can tell that it can even contend against strong taboo magic. A wry smile appeared on her face. She feels fortunate that she didn't blindly confront Vincent. She already started to imagine the duel scenes in her mind. She wants to know how her snowstorm magic can deter Vincent's gravity magic. The entire crowd appeared to be in shock. The duel was also under the eyes of some bigwigs. Vincent's powerful gravity magic sends a message to them. No one in the inner house can defeat Vincent anymore. Duel arena. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. The announcement said that I shouldn't kill the opponent. It's tantamount to breaking rules. Seeing that Clifton gasps for breath, I canceled the gravitational force. When the pressure got cancelled, Clifton breathed in relief. I said, accept the defeat. The words reach Clifton's ears. Right after, a trace of murderous intent flashes in his eyes. He obviously can't retreat now. He remembers the instructions of his seniors. The next second, he took the unknown potion from the storage ring and drank it. This all happened in a blink of an eye. What the F at CK? I raised my eyebrows in surprise. A bad premonition appeared in my heart the next second. I guess this was the backhand arranged by the Bloodline Hall. I raised my hand to cast the spell again. Clifton Cox's whole body is trembling. He lost his state of consciousness for a moment. Inside his body, the bloodline power is boiling up. Something sinister is brewing inside his body. The potion energies were constantly stimulating and changing the bloodline power. Sudden change in situation caught the attention of the audience. What's happening? Clifton seems to have drunk some potion. The crowd erupts in exclamation. The Bloodline Hall Gallery. Finally, the food didn't let us down, the green-haired wizard said with a smile. He was obviously satisfied by Clifton's decision. Now this potion will give him additional boost in strength. Hereafter the Gravity Kid won't be able to stop Clifton. The wizard with snake pupils also nodded his head in satisfaction. He was humiliated by an earlier scene. Both of them clearly underestimated the power of the gravity magic. And he saw the smiling face of Gilbert Reese. Now he wants to see what is he going to do. Keep an eye on Gilbert. Don't let him interfere, he said. The green wizard nodded his head in understanding. He then set his gaze on Gilbert Reese. Sub-taboo gallery. What is that thing? Carolina uttered in surprise. The black potion looks like a dangerous product, Mark Talley said in a solemn tone. Gilbert Reese's eyes flickered with a slight glint. He knows this might be the hand of those two. But he is not panicking. He has given him a magic pendant. That thing is enough to protect Vincent's life. The taboo gallery. The Bloodline Hall is despicable, Lara White muttered to herself. Any person with little knowledge can see that black potion is not a good thing. In order to simulate their bloodline, they don't have to rely on potion. So the person from the Bloodline Hall is clearly up to something. Even wizards from other halls understood immediately. They had never expected Bloodline Hall to do some tricks. The duel arena. Clifton Cox feels the rapid changes in his body. His bloodline is being stimulated far beyond his expectation, causing his power attributes to rise. He didn't know exactly how much power was multiplied. When he regained control of his body, an evil grin appeared on his face. Swish! He disappeared from the spot the next second and rushed toward the opponent. On the other hand, the changes in Clifton's body didn't go unnoticed under my eyes. Especially, the system clearly showed his new status. I don't know what the black potion was, but I believe there is nothing free in this world. Obviously, he must have paid some grave price for this. Seeing that he is making a move, I immediately cast the spell. Repulsive force, I said. The next second, a terrible repulsive force released from my body. This time I didn't hold back. I want him half dead. My eyes burst out with a cold glint. Clifton was startled by the sudden spell. But he didn't drop his speed. Boom! But when he collided with repulsive force, his body flew back like a bullet and crashed to the ground. Clifton Cox wailed right before fainting. Multiple bones were broken in his body. The entire person looked half dead. The atmosphere looked dead silent. Clifton flattened again in the second move. Even that unknown potion failed to make any changes. This all happened in a blink of an eye. 10 seconds later, the announcement came: Vincent Carey won the official duel. The rewards will be given later on. Gasp! The crowd finally broke into commotion. Earlier there was deadly silence, but now everyone finds it easy to talk. The Bloodline Gallery? The Bloodline Wizard's face turned ugly. They hadn't expected to witness such a result. Such crushing defeat is more humiliating. But some of the wizards know the upper management won't stay silent hereafter. The green-haired wizard face turned ugly. Both of them had expected the black potion to bring some changes. But even before that, Clifton got crushed again. He wasn't even able to be near the gravity kit at all. Gravity magic completely overwhelmed today's duel. The wizard with shake pupil hissed. "Looks like we need to arrange someone special in order to deal with the kid," he mumbled under his breath. He has vague plan his mind. There are some special bloodline warriors in the hall. They are many times stronger than this lizard trash. He believes that they can overcome the difficulties of gravity magic. The sub-taboo gallery? Ha, that's all. Mark Talley's eyes lit up with surprise. In a few minutes, he has undergone roller coaster emotions. He thought the trick of the bloodline wizard would be sinister. But that guy fainted even before displaying the trick? Is this a joke or what? A small smile appeared on his face. Carolina Slate sighs in relief. She was looking forward to the trick. But the ending was a little unexpected. When she looks at the fainted body of Clifton Cox, a trace of pity flashes in her eyes. She knows the behavior of the Bloodline Hall. According to their routine, they will give harsh punishment to Clifton later. Gilbert Reese smiled. This duel gave him a lot of face. From the very beginning, the duel was under the control of the junior brother. Even the little tricks turned vain in the end. Then suddenly he thought of something. His eyes gleamed with twinkle. There is something good in his treasury. He has noticed the shortcomings of his younger brother. So he made up his mind to give some gifts. Meanwhile, when the barrier was lifted, Clifton Cox was taken by the staff for treatment. Seeing that, I turned back to return. A few minutes later, I returned to the sub-taboo hall. After confirmation, I stepped inside. As I expected, 3 of my seniors were waiting for me. Junior brother, congratulations. Your gravity magic really gave me some understanding. Mark Talley walked forward to congratulate, followed by Sister Carolina and Senior Gilbert. Junior brother Vincent, you are good. Now the Bloodline Hall won't trouble you for the time being, Carolina said. Hearing that, I let out a small laugh. Since I had exposed some of my means, not only the Bloodline Hall but even other wizard halls won't pester me for the time being. Then I saw Senior Gilbert. I immediately took the pendant and gave it to him. Then Gilbert said, Junior brother Vincent, you have impressed me. As you said earlier, you really took care of that bloodline wizard. Taking back the pendant, a wry smile appeared on Gilbert's face. His pep talk before the duel was of no use. Realizing that, he quickly decided to change the topic. Then he brought the red color potion from the storage ring. Core enhancement potion. Mark Talley's eyes lit up with surprise. Carolina was stunned as well. Here, junior brother. Take this small gift from me, Gilbert said. This? I hesitated for a moment. This came as a surprise. The core enhancement potion will make up the gap between your body and mana core, Gilbert said. Hearing that, my pupils shrink. What a level 6 wizard. He even caught this detail. Then I recovered myself before accepting the potion. Then we talked for a few more minutes before parting ways. Several minutes later, I returned to my room. I immediately sat and decided to consume the potion. Seeing the red color potion, a hint of expectation rose in my heart. Then I drank the bottle and waited for the changes to take place. After a couple of seconds, I feel a change in mana core. The mana core is increasing in strength at a faster rate. 30 minutes later, System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 83%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 278. Speed, 280. Stamina, 278. Vitality, 280. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 26%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. My gaze fell on the core progression, seeing that it has risen by 20 points. My mouth curved into an arc. Now there is no gap between the mana core and attributes. I can smoothly touch the limit in the upcoming days. After closing the panel, I decided to shower before doing other things. Meanwhile, the news about the official duel result broke out. Even the Bloodline Hall can't control other wizard halls from spreading the other news. Quickly, the online forum was bombarded with malicious comments against Clifton Cox. People with discerning eyes can tell that the unknown black potion was a suspicious substance. The Bloodline Hall is refusing to comment on it, while the shady means of Bloodline Hall attract a lot of dissatisfaction. At the same time, Vincent's reputation skyrocketed. How to finish the duel in 2 moves? A random inner wizard post caused a lot of wizards to share. Many are bewildered by the power of gravity magic, which can skip ranks and cause injury to high-level wizards. Vincent's perverted gravity magic made other halls rethink their strategy. Because gravity magic is not only sub-taboo magic, but it involves the inheritance of the late gravity ancestor of their academy. If Vincent's talent was mediocre, then it's fine. No one will target him. But now Vincent's performance makes some speculate that it will be a matter of time before he accepts the inheritance of the late gravity ancestor. If that happens, it will create a new block inside the academy. Then Vincent will have the support of a lot of old monsters in the academy. At that time, it would become impossible for the other 11 halls to move against Vincent. This type of serious discussion was happening among upper echelons. Apart from True House Wizard and above, no one knows about such a discussion. Now that the results are known. Next, everyone is looking forward to the Bloodline Hall's reaction. They were the ones who proposed the duel earlier. Since they have lost face, Vincent will face harder obstacles from them. At the same time, inside one of the hideouts of the Dark League in the Dragon City, 2 dark silhouettes were discussing something. Suddenly, one of the dark silhouettes received intelligence information. His codename is Black. What could defeated the level 4 wizard in 2 moves? He uttered in surprise. The person opposite him was bewildered. He asked, who? He has a huge scar on the left side of his face. His codename is Bucky. Black replied in a coded tone, Vincent Carey. Bucky's face changes drastically. Vincent Carey is now famous among the Dark League circles. Because of him, the Dark League lost 2 super powerhouses, which made the Dark League lose face. They failed to kill an insignificant C candidate. Bucky suddenly asked, what do you think the headquarters will do now? Black closed the communication terminal. This kid is a gravity wizard, and his talent seems to be good as well. Everyone knows about the late gravity ancestor. And I believe the headquarters doesn't want to see another gravity wizard rise. When Black finished his words, beep, both of them received orders from the Dark League headquarters at the same time. Opening the communication terminal, 2 of them read the instructions. Bucky's eyes flickered with surprise glint. He said, it's so fast. Black closed the terminal and said, I told you. Now we have orders to kill that kid as long as he takes a step inside the Dragon City. If we move often, it will attract unwanted attention. And the dogs from the government will smell it, Bucky said with dissatisfaction. It can't be helped. That kid can handle level 4 wizards easily, which shows no average wizard would pose no threat to him. Unless we level 5 wizards move personally, Black replied in a calm tone. Both of them are level 5 wizards, responsible for guarding and doing missions from this hideout. Black also thinks that the orders are not only given to them, but also to others. Any capable rogue wizard can accept the task. A strange glint flashes in his eyes. He had long since wanted to advance on the ladder, but he got no opportunities to do that. Now this order came at the right time. As long as he kills the gravity wizard kid, he will gain a huge reputation and rewards. Then he can easily move around in the Dark League's inner circles. The real reason why people are crazy for anime girls. Brainberries. Bucky doesn't know Black Thoughts. He seems to be immersed in other reports. Similarly, every level 5 rogue wizard from the Dark League received orders from their headquarters. Like Black, many wanted to use this opportunity to rise. On the other hand, John Myers muttered, "It's not good." He too received the result of an official duel. He cares about Vincent a lot. More than happy, he started to feel tense now. What Senior Gilbert is thinking? John raised his eyebrows in confusion. Everyone knows about Bloodline Hall's nature. Those blood maniacs were difficult to handle. Now that they have lost face, he worries about what they will do next. He thinks Vincent will have sleepless nights in the coming days. Apart from the Bloodline Hall schemes inside, most of the danger awaits outside. Thinking about the Dark League, he broke out in cold sweat. Dark League will now become more determined to kill Vincent. Previously, they had sent a level 6 wizard to kill Vincent. He can't imagine what would happen next. Level 7 or level 8 wizard. His back went cold. No, I should inform my superior, he muttered to himself. Before doing that, he made up his mind to meet Vincent in person tomorrow. The following day? Dorm room. 8 a.m. Yesterday, I didn't leave the room. I didn't imagine the result of an official duel would have such consequences. Sitting, I browsed several posts. But not one post made me happy. It made me feel that everyone wants to enjoy the show. Everyone discusses Bloodline Hall's reaction. I frowned. Things were not going in the right direction. I mumbled under my breath. I want some period in growth in resources. If I make a lot of enemies now, it will become difficult to earn resources later. I can already imagine people doing some calculations. If I go outside of the academy, I'm most likely to face a lot of trouble. Even thinking about it gives me a headache. I closed the web pages and massaged my temple. After calming down my heart, I shifted my attention back to the status panel. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 86%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 281. Speed, 283. Stamina, 281. Vitality, 283. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 30%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing the steady progression, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. It would be best to reach level 4 before going out, I mumbled under my breath. At that time I could even injure level 7 wizards easily by using perverted gravity magic. The more I think about it, the more the plan seems feasible. Beep. Right after closing the panel, I received a message from John Myers. Seeing that, my eyes lit up with surprise. Looks like he was back from the mission. Then I left my room and walked toward the meeting spot. Soon I reached the meeting point. This meeting point is a famous one. It's one of the luxury garden parks in the academy. From this location, I think John Myers seems to want simple conversation. But I'm hoping to get more meteor resources from him. Only this way, I can upgrade the perverted gravity magic further. Swish. Right after, a silhouette appeared beside. He is none other than John Myers. Vincent, you are famous now, John Myers said. I replied, Elder, it was an official duel. I had no choice other than to win. You can call me senior now. Only advanced level wizards were addressed as elders in the academy, John Myers said. Hearing that, a wry smile appeared on my face. I couldn't help but remember the old days. John Myers asked, "What are you planning to do next?" I retracted my thoughts and looked toward him. I asked, "What do you mean?" "Vincent, don't go outside of the academy without having life-saving items," John Myers said. "Also try to have more connection with true house wizard like Senior Gilbert," he added further. I raised my eyebrows in confusion. John's questions contain hidden meanings. What do you mean by not to go outside? I looked toward him and asked, "Senior, can you tell me what's going on?" Hearing that John revealed his worries, in particular worries related to the Dark League. After a few minutes, my eyes gleamed with twinkle. Dark League? It was always on my mind. Since I'm living inside the academy, I didn't think too much about them. Sigh. "Senior, don't worry. I'm not planning to go outside for the time being," I replied. A hint of relief flashes in John Myers' eyes. Since Vincent made up his mind, now he has an opportunity to discuss with superiors regarding the Dark League. Good. "If you need something, you can contact me anytime you want," John Myers said with a smile on my face. Finally, I said in my heart before asking, "Senior, do you have any meteor rocks with you?" John Myers was stunned before a look of understanding dawned upon him. He almost forgot Vincent's longing for meteor rocks. But currently the country of meteorites is on high alert. They are strictly patrolling the border. It's not easy to infiltrate in current conditions. "Vincent, the meteor country is not currently safe for foreigners. If the situation improves, I'll get that thing for you," John Myers answered. A hint of disappointment flashes in my eyes, but I still nodded my head in response. Then we talked about a few other things before parting ways. On my way toward the dorm, I couldn't help but think about his last words. "Be wary of Bloodline Hall's true house wizards," I mumbled under my breath. Looks like it's impossible to be low-key anymore. My eyes burst out with a cold glint. It's really tiring to go with the flow. A few minutes later, I returned back to my room and started reading the Gravity Wizard books. I'm learning how to control the gravity mana particles in a better way. The Bloodline Hall. The green-haired wizard and the wizard with snake pupils looked dejected. Higher-ups from the Elder House strictly reprimanded them today. The green-haired wizard's face looked ugly. "I hadn't expected that little duel would draw Elder House attention," he muttered. "Elder House is the real ceiling of the academy. Elder House and above are all pillars of the academy." To think that they saw the official duel, he couldn't help but curse at his carelessness. The wizard with a snake pupil hissed. He said, "Usually those old fogies don't interfere in Wizard Hall's affairs. But this time there is obvious change." His eyes flickered with cold glint. "Remember, I have told you about the late gravity ancestor," he added further. The green-haired wizard's pupil shrank. He hurriedly turned toward him and asked, "Are you saying that higher UPS are staring at that kid?" Green-haired wizard is really scared. Because Sub-Taboo Hall is going to gain another powerhouse in future. And it won't be simple as Elder House level. That kid may go beyond if he accepts inheritance. For the first time, green-haired wizard's face condensed thinking about trifling inner house kid. The wizard with snake pupils hissed before saying, "You are right. Our Bloodline Hall superiors have the same concern as well. They really don't want to see another powerhouse rise up." I already got a hint of approval from higher UPS to remove the kid. The green-haired wizard's heart set off storms. He immediately asked, "What higher-ups are thinking?" "It's not easy to touch that kid. Everyone knows that kid might become the successor of late gravity ancestor. So other halls are keeping their hands down. Do you think no one wants to trouble that kid before our Bloodline Hall?" I heard that kid had some confrontation with the Mechanical Hall and Transformation Hall as well. The green-haired wizard really doesn't want to be involved in this. If something happens to that kid, then their Bloodline Hall will suffer a huge blow, enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. The higher-ups would definitely kill us as a scapegoat. The wizard with a snake pupil hissed. He smelled the scent of fear from his friend. A look of disdain flashes in his eye before returning to normal. He understands the worry of his friend, but he simply can't deny the offer. Because the offer given to him was very useful for his snake bloodline's improvement. If he does that, then he will definitely become an important figure in the Elder House in future. That's a true peak. "Are you going to do it or not?" he asked back. The green-haired wizard's face sank before sighing. From his friend's tone he can see that it's impossible to back away. So he simply nodded his head. Seeing that wizard with snake pupils nodded his head in satisfaction before saying, "We need to lure that kid to go outside. I will come up with a suitable plan later," he said. "Wait, I hear there is a big auction coming up in the Dragon City. the green-haired wizard suddenly said. Auction. The wizard with snake pupils surprised. He thinks it's indeed a good place to attract that kid without any suspicion. But that kid is a mere level 3 wizard. Most of the powerhouse who attended the auctions were in ranks of level 5 and above. If that kid goes, he won't be allowed to enter. The green-haired wizard thought of something and asked, why don't we lure that kid by placing items related to gravity magic in auction? The wizard with snake pupils becomes hesitant. Because it would be too obvious if he does that. Then the academy would definitely track back the details. But if there is another choice, then he decided to use the auction opportunity. The next few days passed in a blink of an eye. Those who were intending to see Bloodline Hall's retaliation were returned with disappointment. Even the online posts were decreased regarding the Bloodline Hall and Subtaboo Hall. Things were eventually returned back to normal. But that doesn't mean people stopped staring at Vincent Carey. Right after the official duel, the Wizard Halls noticed a change in Vincent's behavior. Because for the past few days, Vincent Carey has been going back and forth between library and dorm. Even his visits to the Subtaboo Hall have become short, which caused people with ulterior motives to give up. People had expected another show between the two halls. But strangely nothing had happened. At the same time, a huge news broke out all of a sudden. Dragon City's central auction will happen in a few days. Every powerhouse was gearing up for this auction. Because the majority of the auction items come from the foreign countries. Foreign countries' magic and cultures were different. So it usually attracts many powerhouses from the state. At the same time, Green Serpent Clan. The wizard with snake pupils is standing before the patriarch. Ko, are you serious? The patriarch asked with solemn concern on his face. The wizard with the snake pupils' name is Ko. Right now he is really crossing his boundaries to request something. Patriarch, only that blood can attract the attention of that gravity kid, Ko answered. The patriarch became hesitant. He doesn't know how Ko got such an offer to improve his bloodline. If Ko becomes an elder-level powerhouse, then their Green Serpent clan will emerge as a local tyrant in surrounding regions. The patriarch then asked, are you sure that your academy would never seek revenge for that kid? Ko answered with a smile, Patriarch, rest assured. That kid comes from a mage family which is no different to regular humans. And the academy won't care about the dead genius. On top of it, our clan has the support of the entire Bloodline Hall. So things will never go wrong, he added further. Alright then, I will discuss with our sleeping ancestors later. I need their permission to fulfill your request, the patriarch said. Hearing that, Ko smiled. Dorm room. After closing the intermediate gravity magic book, I decided to see changes in the status panel. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 92%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 292. Speed, 293. Stamina, 291. Vitality, 292. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 40%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. After scanning the details in the status panel, my mouth curved into an arc. In 3 more days, I will touch my limit. Then after stepping into level 4, I will go outside to perform the task again. A quick gleam flashes in my eyes. Beep. Suddenly, I received a call from my communication watch. I attended the call and the holographic image of Carolina Slade appeared. What are you doing? Her words reached my ears. My mouth twitched, then I replied, I'm just studying gravity wizardry books. Carolina frowned. She was tired of hearing the same thing. She said, I know. But why you are avoiding coming to the sub-taboo hall? Did those wizards from Bloodline Hall mess with you? Carolina thought of this as possible. Other than that, she finds no reason for Vincent to be cooped up in his room all day. Should I tell her or not? I muttered in my heart. For the time being, I don't want anyone to know about my progress. After getting a breakthrough, I plan to do some missions before revealing the news. Then I slowly said, no, I'm completely fine. I just want to gather more knowledge about gravity magic. Carolina remained silent for a moment before saying, all right, sorry for disturbing you. If you need help, you should contact me immediately. After saying that, she ended the call. I just stared at the blank screen before closing it down. I plan on repeating this process for a few weeks. But looks like some people already started spreading rumors about me, I said in my heart. Then shaking my head, I continued to read the books. 3 days later, the day before the auction day. Early morning, 5 a.m. I woke up to start my meditation routine. This time I'm more excited than ever. Because I'm going to reach the limit today. I sat cross-legged on the mat and started to run the gravity arc mental method. Slowly, the gravity mana particles entered my body. I guided the energy according to the gravity arc method. After some circulation, the energy gathered inside my mana core. Feeling the energy, I repeated the process again and again. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later, feeling the invisible barrier weighing down on my bed. My mouth curved into an arc. Finally, I touched the limit, I said with a smile. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 100%. Progressing. The real reason why people are crazy for anime girls. Brainberries. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 300. Speed, 300. Stamina minus 300. Vitality, 300. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 50%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared to inform my eyes. My gaze immediately fell on the attributes. Seeing that all of them reached the limit, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. Now, I have to gather more gravity mana before tearing through the limit. But I don't think that the level 3 limit could be broken in one day. My eyes flickered with a slight glint. Let's just wait for a few more days, I muttered to myself. Because apart from this, there is no other simple method. Otherwise, if I want to break through in one day, then I have to consume expensive treasures, which is quite impossible for my current position. Sighing, I got up from the ground after closing the panel. A few minutes later, I walked toward the dining hall to have breakfast. At this time, rarely do people come to this place, because very few people who come late to eat. When I stepped inside the dining hall, I see Senior Carolina is waiting for me. I know you would come at this time, Carolina Slate said as she joined me to walk toward the food counter. A wry smile appeared on my face. Looks like even after having a call, she is not convinced. Then we walked up to the counter. After receiving the food plate, we sat in a nearby seat. Slowly, we began to eat. But midway, I overheard some interesting overreaction. I don't know what treasure items will appear this time in Central Auction, a transformation wizard said to his friend beside him. Central Auction? Hearing the conversation of the people, I quickly become interested. I heard about these auction firms a lot. As long as we got enough money, we can bid on the auction items to buy treasure. But again, my expression sank. Buy auction items only a wizard with capital can afford. What are you thinking? Carolina asked. Auction, I blurted out unconsciously. So you want to go to the auction? But it's difficult for low-level wizards to get a pass. Unless you are VIP, she added further. Hearing that, I remained silent. Forget about getting a pass, I don't even have money to buy the treasures. Then I resumed eating. But Carolina didn't change the topic. Talking about the auction. It's very interesting. A lot of our true wizards were going this time. Even bigwigs from the other 2 academies were going, she said. Interesting, I perked up my ears to listen further. When we were talking, sudden news reached everyone's ears. Hey, look here. The central auction has published the auction items now, a transformation wizard exclaimed in surprise. Which startled everyone. Let's check out the page, Carolina muttered before accusing the auction page. Even I'm looking forward to seeing the names. What kind of action items can attract true wizards from 3 academies in the city? Meanwhile, Carolina quickly accessed the auction page where she saw the list of auction items. Central auction page. 1. Broken Evil Sword, Sword Power, Grade 6. 2. Golden Clover Leaf, Mind Power, Level 6. 3. Golden Soil, Earth Mana Treasure, Grade 6. 4. Water Essence Krytal, Purified Mana, Grade 7. 5. Single Blood Drop, Gravity Attributed Mutated Snake, Level 6 Monster. 6. Unaccessible. 7. Unaccessible. 8. Unaccessible. Carolina's eyes lit up with surprise. She began to scan the name one by one. All of the items were above level 5, it's not something low-level wizard could afford. Gold clover leaf? She was shocked in her heart. This treasure is a very valuable item to the wizard with mind-related magic. She doesn't know which goes from her academy wants this thing. Then she saw the next items, which is another treasured item of elemental magic. But when her gaze fell on the last item before the restricted names, her pupil shrank. Gravity Blood of Level 6 Monster, her heart set off storms. She then raised her head to see Vincent. Meanwhile, I feel a sudden gaze on me. I saw a change in her expression. I asked, Sister, what happened? But she pointed her fingers at the screen. I raised my eyebrows in confusion. Then I realized she wants me to check the auction items. What's the point of knowing the items? I can't even afford those items, I muttered in my heart helplessly before I accessed the page on my watch. When I logged into the page, a list of items appeared on the screen. One by one, I go through the items. But my eyes stopped at 5th item before I turned toward her. Is this real? I asked. Carolina nodded her head. Even she was shocked by the gravity-related auction items. If Vincent can have this blood, then his progression would increase tenfold. Both of them then looked at each other. Before Carolina confirmed and answered, Central Auction is no joke. The listed items were real. But in her heart, she doesn't know whether Vincent can buy this item. At his current status, it's even difficult to buy the entry pass. At the same time, I felt a surge of heat in my heart. Apart from the meteor rocks, it's the first time I came across items related to gravity magic. This time it's the blood of the monster. But no one knows that this blood will not only be helpful for me to learn gravity mana particles. It can also bring drastic improvements to the physique. For the first time, I feel the helplessness of poor people. My mood worsens thinking about it. Even the joy brought by touching the limit immediately fades away. I quickly crush the thoughts in my mind. I like to be realistic. This thing is not for me. Then I resumed eating. True House Wizard co-viewed the list of auction items. Seeing the snake blood in the list, he sighed in relief. But again, he still has some doubts. The grade of snake blood is too high for that gravity kit to buy. A trace of struggle flashes in his eyes. There was one flaw in his plan. He couldn't fix the price of the snake blood. If he lowered the price deliberately, it would cause a lot of eyebrows to raise. Then many people will be suspicious. He can't afford to make such a mistake. Coming back to that kid, Gravity Kid. He doesn't know who will help him to buy that snake blood. Because he knows the kid's background. It's impossible for that kid to even buy an entry pass for the auction. In his opinion, either someone from the Elder Hall would take action or that Gilbert guy might buy this thing for that kid. Anyway, with the appearance of snake blood in auction, he can see the attitude of the academy towards that kid. If there is support behind the scenes, then he will have to make his plan carefully. Cool. Is this your work? Behind him, a green-haired wizard hurriedly walked out. Before both of them decided to take action. But this news came as a surprise. KO's snake pupil flickered with a slight glint. He simply nodded his head in response. Green-haired wizard stunned. But he suddenly asked, "Bro, do you think it will work? That kid is poor. On top of it, who will allow him to enter the auction house? Don't you think it's far-fetched?" Ko's eyes turned cold, sensing that green-haired wizard quieted down. Then Ko said, "It's just bait. And I don't want to wait any longer to complete the task. If I want to enter Elder House, this is the only chance for me," he added further. Green-haired wizard's heart was shocked. He knows the ambition of Ko is high. Compared to the Elder House, the cost of snake blood is nothing to be mentioned. Even if he was given the chance, he would probably do the same. But again, the probability of failure is high. Let's see those fools from the sub-taboo hall whether they take the bait or not. At a certain location, outside of the academy, Gilbert opened the communication terminal. He also heard the news about Central Auction. Because he was a regular customer there, he used to buy 1 or 2 auction items every year. Certainly, this time he was intrigued to check the list. But after a few minutes, a strange glint flashes in his eyes. "Gravity snake monster," he muttered to himself in shock. Quickly, the image of Vincent Carey comes to his mind. For a moment, he felt unreal. Because it's not easy to come across sub-taboo treasure, which is also the blood of a 6th-order monster. That kid's luck is quite good. His mouth curved into an arc. He was hoping to buy some things for himself. But suddenly he decided to contact the superior in the sub-taboo hall. He knows the academy might be starting this thing. The real reason why people are crazy for anime girls. Brainberries. Not good, he muttered. He remembers the background of the Green Serpent clan. The appearance of the snake blood is very timely. He couldn't help but think of it as Bloodline Hall's plan. They almost tore off their faces. But he doesn't think that Green Serpent clan or Bloodline Hall would sell this rare treasure to the auction. Otherwise, someone from the academy would definitely monitor them. Coming back to the snake blood, he felt a headache. He knows the snake blood is not only important to their academy, for others as well. If he goes there as a true house wizard, then people would definitely raise the price. It certainly needs some planning to buy this, or there should be some robbery later. Anyway, he made up his mind to buy this item. "Let's go back to the academy," he said to himself. He wants to meet Vincent Carey straight away. The Dragon City? Codename Black and Blucky also got the news. Because they make huge money every year by the time of the auction. So when they view the listed items, both of them looked at each other. There is an opportunity. Black became excited. He had never expected an opportunity to fall from nowhere. "Do you think he will come?" Bucky asked. Black asked, "What do you mean?" Bucky replied, "In order to buy 6th order blood, you need a lot of money. But that kid is a trifling lower-level wizard. And what will happen if someone else buys this time in the end?" he added further. Black face sank. He said, "Let's report it back to the headquarters. They will think of something." Hearing that, Bucky nodded his head. Not only other powerhouses are interested in Central Auction, even the Dark League would step in if there is needed item in action. Soon, Black opened the communication terminal to send the message, and waited for the reply. A few minutes later, Black received the reply. After reading the message, his pupil shrank, then he let out a deep sigh. "What happened?" Bucky asked. He noticed the change in expression on Black's face. Black felt helpless before replying. "The headquarters will send a true house wizard for the auction, and our job is to assist him." Bucky's expression changes drastically. He doesn't want to become cannon fodder. The higher-level wizards in the Dark League are inhumane. They won't hesitate to sacrifice their pawn. Thinking about the felt chills all over his body. Black saw Bucky's complex mood. He said, "Don't think too much. He won't sacrifice us. There will be a lot of people on the day of the auction. The true house wizard won't dare to expose his whereabouts." Bucky calmed down his heart. More than a higher-level wizard in Dragon City, he is afraid of higher-level wizards in his organization. Then both of them remained silent. Taboo Hall. "Gravity blood," Lara White uttered in surprise. She immediately thought of Vincent Carey. Vincent is a blockbuster everywhere. She couldn't help but feel envy. But again, thinking about the other party's identity, she calmed down her heart. She heard from her teacher that Vincent is from a backward country and his parents were low-level healers. So it's impossible for Vincent to buy this thing in Vincent's personal capacity. Creak. "Lara, I heard you are present at the official duel," a cold voice heard from behind. Lara White's face becomes solemn. She knew someone would definitely come ask her about this. But she hadn't expected this one to come. The door behind her opened and a cold-looking young man came. "Senior Curtis, what do you want?" Lara White turned toward him and asked. A cold glint flashes in Curtis' eyes before it disappears. Ah, ah, ah. I just want to know why you care about that trash, he asked. Lara White knows he is mentioning the sub-taboo hall and the bloodline hall. It's none of your business. After saying that, she got up to leave. Curtis didn't stop her, but his eyes flickered with cold glint. He feels this woman is not stupid, and it's becoming very hard to deal with. Harumph, sooner or later I will suppress you, he said in his heart. The day of the 3 Academy competition is not far away. Both walked toward the sub-taboo hall after having breakfast. And no surprise, Elle came across a lot of eyeliner outside. I clenched my fist in anger, but I knew it would be a matter of time before I became a level 4 wizard. Then I can deal with some pests. Ignoring them, we walked into the inside after scanning the details. Beep! Carolina received a sudden message. Seeing it was from Senior Gilbert, she immediately thought about the auction. After reading the message, she sighed in relief. She can confirm in her heart that Senior is going to help Vincent.Novrolss when and hosted the premiere release of this chapter. Vincent, don't go anywhere. Senior Gilbert is coming here to meet you, Carolina said with a smile. Her words reached my ears. The next moment, earlier gloominess completely swept away in my heart and it's replaced with excitement. I was wondering whether he would help me or not. But hearing that he is coming to me, I couldn't help but think about the snake blood again. If I can consume the snake blood, then it will give me a huge promotion. Not only will I break through, I believe my physique will improve drastically. I sat on the chair and waited for his arrival. I know it's not easy to buy that blood from the auction. There will be severe competition. Time passed. 1 hour later, Gilbert Reese walked into the hall. When he saw Vincent Carey, a bright smile appeared on his face. Vincent, I envy your luck, he said without hiding his emotion. At first, it took him some time to adjust his emotions. The snake blood is a sub-taboo category treasure. Seeing him coming, I walked up to greet him. Senior Gilbert's arrival shocked me, and it rekindled the hope of buying that mutated snake blood. Looking toward him, I asked, Senior, is it possible to get that thing? Hearing the words, Carolina perked up her ears to listen, because she had the same doubts. Meanwhile, Gilbert reveals a small smile on his face. If they were any other wizards, it may sound ridiculous. But we are talking about you, a gravity wizard. You may not know it, but there are a lot of things riding on you. I'm not entirely relying on the sub-taboo hall. But there are some old monsters in the academy who want to see the appearance of another gravity powerhouse in the academy, which is good for the entire academy. So I'm expecting their help in this auction, he explained with great detail. My eyes lit up with surprise, so no wonder I can get to access those gravity wizard books. Because someone behind the scenes eases down the restrictions. After a sudden realization, I feel a huge weight being lifted off from the solder. If I can get in touch with these old monsters, then, in other words, it's having a strong back behind your back. I begin to develop a vague plan in mind. After getting a breakthrough, I should attract the attention of the old powerhouses again. What are you daydreaming about? Carolina's words brought my attention back to reality. Then looking at 2 of them, I revealed an embarrassing smile before saying, ahem, I had never expected to catch the attention of elders. Senior Gilbert sat on the nearby seat. He was not surprised by Vincent's reaction. Even for him, it's difficult to seek their attention, because they don't interfere with the academy's affairs. Don't think it's too easy. We know the internal situations. But what about outside? I'm quite sure there are many wizards outside whom don't want us to get this thing, Gilbert said with a straight face. I couldn't help but look toward Senior. He must have thought about this situation. Carolina bit her lips. She knows that snake blood will attract a lot of competitions. Gilbert Reese suddenly smirked and said, if Plan A doesn't work, then we should move to Plan B. Plan B, my pupils shrank. This Senior is proposing my style. I'm the one who likes to steal things and dump victims' bodies somewhere. Gilbert saw his reaction, Vincent. He said, what? Do you think it's ugly and sounds like evil wizards' methods? I remained silent. Carolina was shocked to the core. She didn't expect a dignified senior brother to have this plan. Gilbert was amused by their reactions. He said, let me tell you something, that blood is sub-taboo grade. You can't buy such a treasure in shops. Auction is the only way. So a lot of people are involved in the chase and kill every year after the auction ends. So we might have to follow the same method just in case. I sighed inwardly. Senior Gilbert is saying it's not a sin to loot when it comes to rare treasures. For others, you can use normal means. Only I know how troublesome it is to earn money. Initially, I was thinking about earning money using potion making. But unfortunately, I don't have the energy to spend time on other streams. Alright, I'm leaving now. We will meet on the day of the auction. After saying that, Gilbert left. Enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. Only Sister Carolina and I were staring at each other. Meanwhile, the True House wizards learned about the situation. The Green Serpent Wizard Ko let go of his hanging heart. He is sure that Gilbert and that Gravity Kid might be discussing the auction. Since the bait is going to work, then how to kill that kid? He wrecks his brain to come up with an answer. He doesn't think about the possibility of whether Gilbert is going to bring that kid to the auction or not. Because people will be besieged after the auction. So Gilbert has to make that consume Gravity blood. Otherwise, the stalkers won't go away. He also doesn't think Gilbert will bring other powerhouses to the auction. If he does, then he will be stared by the other two academies. Finally, after some contemplation, he made up his mind to bring some people to kill that kid in the midst of chaos on that day. On the other hand, the movements of Gilbert Grease and Vincent Carey are under the eyes of many people. Contact between these two people causes everyone to believe that it's about the upcoming auction. Other halls are waiting for the Bloodline Hall's reaction. Because the conflict between the Bloodline Hall and the Subtaboo Hall is now public. Especially the auction involves the interest of a new rising wizard, Vincent Carey. So people are expecting some show to happen. They are waiting for the Bloodline's Hall blockade. But even several hours after the release of the listed items, there was no reaction from Bloodline Hall. These even caused some commotion to happen on social media. Students are making conspiracy theories. It's some calm before the storm. Because after seeing the sorry state of Clifton Cox, Bloodline Hall can't remain silent. So many theory posts were circulating online. Even John Myers felt something wrong after reading several articles. He was glad that Senior Gilbert stepped forward to help Vincent. But the Bloodline Hall is staying silent. Such silence made his worry no less. Today, Kate Cohen's met with Lara White again. Teacher, are you back? Lara White smiled bitterly after seeing her. Kate Cohen sighs, she is just a temporary teacher. The real teacher is someone who is an elder-level powerhouse. Kate's eyes flickered with complicated emotions. Lara, your teacher has been decided, she said in a solemn tone. Lara White felt like a thunderclap rang in her ears. What are you saying? She asked back in worry. Because apart from Kate Cohen's, she doesn't find warmth in anyone. Especially in the Taboo Hall. Everyone is indifferent and cold. Most of them didn't even bother to stay in Taboo Hall. Kate Cohen's answered, why are you surprised? Didn't I say before that I'm a temporary teacher? To be honest, after staying here for a while, you should have realized something. I'm a core house member. My task was finished after recruiting you successfully and making you enter the special class program. Not only me, this is the same case with Vincent Carey. The person who brought him also had a similar task like me. In this academy, only the elder level and above are qualified to take official disciples under them. Even the True House wizards are not eligible to have students under them unless there is a special case. Lara White remained silent. She is not stupid. She knows the difference between a core house and a true house. If she breaks again, then her wizard level equals Kate Cohen's. She understands the situation. But she felt the news came so suddenly. It took her some time to adjust her emotions. Kate Cohen sighed again. She said, all right, I'm not qualified to talk about this matter. Soon you will be notified. So don't worry. It's good to have an elder-level powerhouse as a backing, so no one can bully you. Lara's white hair fluttered in the air. She almost forgot about why she came here. She wants to reach the top level of her magic. A quick glint flashes in her blue pupils. All right, then how should I address you now? Lara White asked. This time her temperament changed completely. Earlier timidness was completely swept away at this moment. You can call me senior sister, Kate replied. She was confused and disturbed by Curtis' appearance. But right now she also thinks it's good to have a strong backing. At least it can deter Curtis. Kate Cohen's looked at her with an appreciative look. Lara White adjusted her mindset quickly. Which is good for her growth. The solemn atmosphere disappeared at this moment. Now they can converse casually. So are you going to challenge that Gravity Kid? Kate Cohen's asked. Vincent Carey? Lara White uttered in surprise. She knitted her eyebrows. Because she thinks it's not easy. Then she shook her head and replied, I'm not sure. Kate Cohen's raised her eyebrows in surprise. What do you mean? She asked back. Lara White completely remembers the duel scenes. She said, Vincent's gravity magic works as a domain. It's not easy to be near him. If you get caught in the domain, it will be all over. Kate Cohen's was quite shocked inside. She hurriedly said, "Don't ever say something like this in public." Lara asked why. A wry smile appeared on her face. She said, "Don't say. You are a user of taboo magic. The taboo magic is many times more powerful than sub-taboo magic. It's just that the kid is quite clever in using his sub-taboo magic. You are on the other hand yet to tap the potential inside you. But I believe you will get complete change over studying under the elder level teacher." Lara White is quite pleased to hear such an evaluation. Even she had trouble facing Vincent. Now her confidence strengthens further. On the auction day dorm room, after waking up, I completed my morning routine before sitting cross-legged for meditation. When I started to run the gravity arc method, slowly the gray energy particles entered my body. Then I guided the energy according to the mental method. After circulation, the energy settled down in the mana core. I felt the increase in mana. I repeated the process. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later. But I felt the barrier again. It will take some days to weaken the barrier. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. If today's auction plan was successful, then I can perhaps break the barrier today itself. Then I decided to check the status. System, show me the status panel. I said to the system. Ding, the host's command is recognized. Ding, level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 100%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 100. Speed, 100. Stamina, 100. Vitality, 100. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 50%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. Delivering power efficiency, Mitsubishi Electric. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. The repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, a magic artifact, herbs, potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My eyes scanned all the details. Seeing there was no change in attributes, I sighed inwardly. I know it's not easy to get a breakthrough in one sitting. Then after closing the status panel, I got up from the ground. Senior Gilbert will be coming soon. I left the dorm and walked toward the dining hall. I texted Sister Carolina on the way. She must be waiting near the entrance. After a few minutes, I joined Sister Carolina. "Are you ready for today's auction?" Carolina asked. "Yes," I replied without showing many expressions on my face. Carolina nodded her head, but as the time is getting near for the auction, she is getting more worried. Senior Gilbert's Plan B haunts her in her dreams. Because she knows the possibility of getting success for Plan A is very low, and Plan B is more likely to happen. I noticed her complex expression. I know she is worried about the auction, so I didn't ask. Then we entered the dining hall and walked toward the food counter. My appearance as usual was noticed by some people, but I ignored their gazes and received the food plate. Then we sat in quite a private place. Yet I could hear people's conversation. Carolina furrowed her eyebrows and said, "Looks like everyone is looking forward to the auction. I heard the auction event would be broadcast live. We can even watch it from here." I raised my eyebrows in surprise. The auction attracted so much more attention than expected. Then we began to eat. Time went on. After having breakfast, both of us entered the sub-taboo hall. Shortly after our arrival, Senior Gilbert came. Seeing him, we stood up from our seats to greet him. I don't know whether he got enough funds to buy that blood. I looked at him with expectations. Gilbert looked at Carolina Slate and Vincent Carey. He laughed and said, "Ha. Ha, junior brother, don't worry. Someone provided me with enough funds." Hearing that, a wave of ecstasy rose in my heart. I finally exhaled in relief. Even Carolina revealed a bright smile on her face. As long as Plan A is successful, she will be happy. Gilbert noticed their expression. Then he brought something out from his storage bracelet. Face mask, I uttered in surprise. This thing is an amazing magical product. Then a look of understanding dawned upon me. This mask will hide my identity. Gilbert revealed a smile before saying, this face mask product is very popular. It needs no reduction. But this one is high grade, we don't have to worry about the level 7 wizard spying on us. After saying that, Gilbert handed the product to Vincent. I received the face mask and placed it inside the storage bracelet. Gilbert remained silent for a moment before saying, let's come to the main topic. It's not wise to leave the academy together. When he said that, Carolina and I looked at each other. Gilbert added, I'll be leaving first. Then you can leave after 1 hour. Here, we will meet at this address outside of the academy. Bloodline Hall is already staring at us. If they see us leaving together, then they will make some plans. All right, I said and stored the address in my contacts. After a few minutes, Senior Gilbert left. Vincent, after leaving the academy, doesn't go anywhere else. Just meet the senior as soon as possible at the meeting point, Carolina said with a worrisome look on her face. I simply nodded my head in response. Meanwhile, multiple flying vehicles left the airspace of the academy in a quick session. Because someone was watching every movement of Gilbert Reese and Vincent Carey. Seeing that someone left the academy, they quickly thought of Gilbert Reese, as he was driving the unidentified vehicle. At the same time, the green-haired wizard contacted the snake wizard. These two true house wizards were planning to kill Vincent. As one of them was suspected of leaving for the auction, the green-haired wizard decided to share the news. What happened? Did they leave? Green-haired wizard, a new aircraft left the academy. I guess it might be Gilbert. Because when he left the sub-taboo hall, we couldn't find his trace anymore. Then it must be him. What about that gravity kid? Our target is him. If he doesn't leave then, our plan will be a failure. Green-haired wizard, he is still inside the sub-taboo hall. Once he walks out, I'll call you again. All right. The Bloodline Hall unofficially dispatched some wizards to help the true house wizards. Their job is to monitor the movements of the sub-taboo hall. 2 hours later, I slowly walked out of the hall. Ignoring the prying gazes, I walked toward the exit. A frown appears on my face. I see a lot of wizards on the way. It's impossible in normal circumstances. But now they are roaming near the sub-taboo hall. I know it's something fishy. Then I hurriedly headed toward the exit. After walking out, I head directly towards the transport area. A few minutes later, I registered for the flying cart. The flying monster is as fast as the flying aircraft. Suddenly, I heard a few people coming in my direction. Someone is tailing me from behind. Then without wasting time, I hopped inside the cabin and told the driver to move. A couple of seconds later, a flying monster left the academy space. This all happened in a few minutes. The green-haired wizard immediately contacted Ko again to share the news. Ko, what now? Green-haired wizard. Ko, that kid left the sub-taboo hall. Then a flying monster cart left the academy space shortly. Ko, okay, I will be handling things from now on. Inside the cabin, I furrowed my eyebrows in uneasiness. These people didn't stop following me. I see many aircraft through the window. They rose shortly after departure. Trouble, I mumbled under my breath. Then I remember the face mask. Fortunately, Senior Gilbert had already foreseen these events. The Bloodline Hall is making trouble. Several minutes later, the flying monster finally reached the Dragon City. Right after that, I wore a face mask to cover my identity. Then I changed the magic robe again. When the monster landed on the platform, I immediately stepped out and rushed away from this place without looking back. Shortly after, many aircraft landed one by one near the flying monster. Everyone is here after Vincent Carey. But they came one step later. Meanwhile, I see Senior Gilbert waiting for me inside the coffee shop. A strange glint flashes in my eyes. Senior Gilbert has a calm and small, knowing smile on his face. He must have known about my situation. But he still keeps his calm. How's the trip? Gilbert asked. I coughed up suddenly. I sat opposite him and replied, Senior, this is no joke. The Bloodline Hall wizards are boldly following my trails from the academy. Gilbert Reese nodded and said, I know. That's why I decided to split. It's impossible to hide from them, especially as the time for the auction is getting near. Now there is half an hour left before the auction. So let's leave now. After saying that, he got up from the seat and walked out. Seeing that, I followed him from behind. Many people are gathering in the middle of the city. The place is now bustling with a crowd. Many wizards from all parts of the country came here for the auction. In particular, the powerhouses located in the capital. Right now, the guards are allowing the people to enter inside. But the powerful wizards are yet to come. Once they come, they will be seated in a private spot to watch the auction. Surprisingly, not one lower-level wizard can be seen on the street. All of them are level 5 or above. Even the guards standing at the front gate are level 5 wizards. At some corner of this place, the snake wizard co-observes the street. Some time ago, he received information from the green-haired wizard that there was no sign of Gilbert and Vincent in the academy, which shows that 2 of them already left the academy. Ever since that, he was waiting for their arrival. But there is no sign of them so far. Then he walked toward the auction building to enter. To buy that blood, they have to come to this auction sooner or later. After showing the pass, he stepped inside the building. Seats were arranged circularly before the auction stage. There is a balcony above for important people. They can watch the auction in private. Soon he found his seat. Then he texted his men to stand by. He brought a few of his clansmen to deal with that kid. As long as he can hold on to Gilbert Reese, he is sure that his men would be able to kill that kid. His plans went smoothly so far. As long as he finishes his task by killing that kid, then his senior would provide him with a bloodline potion. A wave of ecstasy rose in his heart thinking about it. Meanwhile, there is one other force that is also making its move. Dark League members Black and Bucky. Seeing the crowd pouring in, Bucky asked, "Do you think the auction building got enough seats?" A quick glint flashes in Black's eyes. He glanced at the building before saying, "The building can accommodate more than 300 powerhouses easily." Bucky's eyes flickered with complex glint. He asked, "What happened? Why there is no response from the senior?" "We came to the meeting spot in time," he added further. Black frowned. 2 of them wore normal mage robes with face masks. They are not the only ones who hide their identities. Most of the wizards participating in the auction don't want to reveal their identities. This allows them to sneak in. Only on the auction day, the city guards were restrained. They don't dare to investigate boldly. It might offend some power users. Besides, the central auction management allows anyone to participate as long as they have resources to buy the auction items. Black knitted his eyes in the morning. Since morning, he has been getting a bad premonition. It's like there is going to be a storm. He knows that they are going to attack and kill Vincent if possible. But somewhere in his heart, he knows that it's not that simple. The senior from the Dark League might have another task apart from killing Vincent. Suddenly a look of understanding dawned upon me. He guessed there might be certain auction items that attract the headquarters. The more he thinks about it, the more it feels possible. Delivering power efficiency. Mitsubishi Electric. Suddenly, a silhouette came in their direction at a fast speed. 2 of them felt something agitating inside their body. Bucky's face filled with a horrified expression. Black's face turned ugly as well. It's a control technique of the Dark League. Every Dark League member is planted with C to avoid dissent. Any higher member can suppress lower-level members. Right now, 2 of them realize the person is one other than a senior Dark League member. He is wearing a metal mask over his face and a plain mage robe to cover his body. His appearance didn't disturb the public. Only 2 of them are standing in panic. "You too? Did you complete the task?" The person wearing a metal mask asked in a stern voice. Black took a step forward and answered, "Senior, the target is coming here as per the intelligence." The person nodded his head. Then 3 of them entered the auction building. It was not hard for the Dark League to collect information. They left backhands and spies in several major families in the city. Most of their descendants are studying in 3 major academies. So it was easy for them to collect information about Vincent. After entering inside, 3 of them found their seats. Black and Bucky both have uneasiness in their hearts. They don't want to be reduced to cannon fodder. Sitting, Black mustered up his courage to ask, "Senior, what should we do?" Bucky panicked, but still perked up his ears to listen. The person wearing a metal mask remained silent before saying, "You guys have to transport auction items back to the hideout safely." This time he did mental communication. No outsider can hear. Black sighed in relief. As he had expected, the senior came here for auction. But he doesn't know what attracts the organization. Then Black asked, "Senior, what about Gravity Wizard Vincent Carey?" "Trifling, level 3 wizard. If he comes here, then it will be his end. The auction item is more important than him," the person wearing a metal mask said. Black was shocked in his heart. An auction item is more important than a kill task. At this time he feels his bad premonition getting true. Other powerhouses can know about the auction items. If it happens, then there will be a clash between the seniors and others in the end. His face turned ugly. Then he glances at Bucky, who is sitting clueless beside him. The snake wizard also sat patiently. One by one the stars are getting filled slowly. Suddenly, a wave of powerful aura swept over them. The wizards sitting under the balcony were caught off guard. Some of them withstood the pressure while a few fell to the ground. Ah, ah, ah. A weird laughter rang out from room No. 20. Hearing that, everyone looked above. Seeing that it's a private room. Everyone understands the person might be either a powerhouse or his descendant. Two of them might be possible. So people sitting below didn't dare to make a sound. Harumph, the arrogance of the righteous faction. The person wearing a metal mask mumbled under his breath. He made up his mind to smash the person in room number 20 if there is any quarrel breakout. Black remained silent. He is quite used to seeing this scene. There is no shortage of arrogant bastards in this capital city. Most of such people are young heirs or descend from major mage families. He turned toward the room in curiosity. Their hideout has to submit a monthly report back to the headquarters. For every 6 months, the headquarters sends them a kill list. They have to complete the kill list by any means possible. Looking at the 20th room, he doesn't know whether the person is the targeted one. Time went on. Almost all of the seats were filled below. Now the VIP has to come. Everyone is staring at the upper floor. Apart from the 20th floor, they haven't heard a single word from the rest of the private room. But people know it's impossible to pry the details of the private room. The person who came here was intentional. Most of the VP used to enter the private room silently. The Snake Wizard Co is waiting as well. He too knows it's impossible to spot them. Suddenly, everyone saw someone entering the 10th room. Royal Force Wizard? A few people recognized the Golden Mage robe. The Golden Mage robe is the Academy robe of the Royal Force Hall. What surprises the people most is that person dares to reveal his identity. He is confident that no one will target the Royal Force Academy. Seeing so many people's faces turn bitter. Another arrogant person has arrived. Now the rest of the 2 academies are yet to arrive. So people quietly talk about them. The Snake Wizard Co hissed. He only saw the back of the person. He didn't know whether the wizard was from a young generation or a slightly older generation. Meanwhile, Black and Bucky looked at each other. Black feels the face looks a bit similar. He tries to recall, but he couldn't remember. The person wearing a metal mask saw the reaction. He asked what? Black replied, it's related to a task. Don't do anything else today other than listen to my instructions, he sent the mental message. Black's face turned ugly. He cursed in his heart. He knows it's not good to offend the senior. So he simply forgets about doing anything else. Shortly after, another silhouette entered. This was a muscular figure with a giant axe behind his back. He stepped inside the 11th room. The Weapon Palace, another exclamation broke out below. Everyone recognized the Weapon Palace symbol. 2 major academy wizards came, which leaves the Yellow River Academy. After leaving the coffee shop, I and Senior Gilbert disguised ourselves completely in order to enter the central auction. We removed our academy robes and dressed as common mercenaries. A few minutes later, we reached the central part of the city, which is bustling with crowds. All the shops were open on both sides of the roads. A huge building in the middle attracted my attention. Seeing the people were going inside the building, my eyes gleamed with twinkle. Auction building, I uttered in surprise. Senior Gilbert said, looks like a few top powerhouses have already entered the building. He slightly felt the hint of powerful mana hiding in the void. Powerhouse, I said in my heart. Already I had a bad premonition. His words even unsettled me more. Then we walked toward the building. After nearing the gate, the guard stopped us. Senior Gilbert showed 2 entry passes. Seeing that guard let us in. When we stepped inside, the auction atmosphere amazed me. Almost everyone is seated. Then Senior Gilbert found our seat in the last corner of the right side. Our appearance didn't attract that much attention, apart from a few eye glances. Ignoring them, we sat in our seats. Before coming here, Senior Gilbert told me what to do and what not to do. My job is to bring the auction item safely back to the academy as per Plan A. And Senior Gilbert will hold off the enemies. We already assumed that people would snatch and kill after the auction. Especially today, the competition will be severe. That's why I feel that my bad premonition might come true. If Plan A is successful, I have confidence to return back to the academy safely. Because I have the Gregor mansion with me, I will hide myself in this manner. Then it will be easier for me to return. But all of this can be only possible if Senior can bid the auction item successfully. If it fails, then we have to switch to Plan B. The Plan B is more dangerous than the Plan A. If anyone else bid the auction item successfully, then Senior Gilbert will take action to snatch the items. I knitted my eyebrows in tension, because the wizards here are mainly level 5 powerhouse. Thanks to the magic cloak on me, no one can pry my wizard level. Otherwise, my lower level would have attracted attention. Then my gaze fell on the top floor. There are more than 20 private rooms on the top floor. No need to doubt. That place is for VIP wizards. Then I noticed Senior Gilbert's expression. He closed his eyes off, seeing that I casually glanced around. Then I spotted a familiar figure at the front. After seeing him for a second, I retracted my gaze. He seems to be from the Bloodline Hall, I said in my heart. I recalled the dual memories with Clifton Cox. At that time, I saw 2 people standing behind the Bloodline wizards. Then a look of understanding dawned upon me. If people from the Bloodline are present here, then the person might be a high-level wizard. Is it another True House wizard? A doubt appeared in my heart. Then I glanced at Senior Gilbert again. Seeing his eyes closed, I sighed inwardly. Looks like he knows that's why he doesn't want to attract attention. Then I began to wait for the auction to start. In the meantime, I overheard people's conversations. My eyes flickered with a slight glint. People from the Royal Force and the Weapon Palace are here, I muttered in my heart. This auction indeed attracted the attention of 3 giant magic academies. I don't know which famous person came here for the auction. I became quite interested. Then 10 minutes later, a small commotion broke out. Everyone erupted in cheer all of a sudden. Here we go, Senior Gilbert's words reached my ears. Seeing his eyes open, I knew the auction had started. Then I turned toward the auction stage. The big black curtains were lowered. In the middle of the stage, a table setup can be seen. On top of the table, I see the auction items are covered with black cloth. Right after, from the side door, a beautiful figure walks out. Seeing her, everyone cheered again. A blonde woman with crystal blue eyes wearing a seductive red formal dress and red lips appeared on the stage. Delivering power efficiency. Mitsubishi Electric. Seeing her, I immediately realized she is the auction presenter here. Looking at the people's reaction, her popularity doesn't seem to be low here. In curiosity, I used the system to probe her status. System, probe target's details, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system. Status panel. Target's name, Vivian Brown. Magic power, seductive charm. Mage level 6 limiter. Mana core status, 83%. Mana power, 600/600. Talent, middle top. Color, deep green. Strength, 545. Speed, 540. Stamina, 538. Vitality, 539. Intelligence, 44 LVL.6. Soul power, 43 LVL.6. Constitution, 44 LVL.6. Mental power, 45 LVL.6. Mental method, Art of Charm Flower, Earth grade. Spells 4. 1. Charm Eyes. 2. Charm Stance. 3. Charme Aura. 4. Charm Body. But right after seeing the status panel, my expression changes drastically. Thuat K, I cursed in my heart. What a demoness. She is actually a level 6 wizard. What kind of background does the central auction have? They made a level 6 wizard as auction presenter. Back in my home, the level 5 wizards were actual overlords. To think such a gap exists between the capital city and backward town. I don't know how to react for a while. No wonder these people are acting crazy. Part of the reasons were her spells. They seem to affect everyone below level 6 wizards. Thanks to the system, I can maintain my sanity. What a scary magic power. My back went cold for a moment. Thinking about the bad premonition, my expression turned gloomy. I doubt anyone would take action here. Otherwise, the auction authorities would step up. After closing the status panel, I sat up straight. Meanwhile, the beautiful woman Vivian opened her mouth to say, "Hi everyone. I'm Vivian here. Welcome to our central auction." Without any delay, I'm announcing this year's first auction item. The Broken Evil Sword. The basic price is 10 million credit points. Her melody-like voice reached everyone's ears. It immediately stirred everyone's soul. The next moment, everyone starts to bid. 11 million. 11.5 million. 12 million. People started to increase the price crazily. But I know these people are not making decisions rationally. It's all because of her spell. These level 5 wizards have fallen under her charm spell. A bitter smile appeared on my face. Shouldn't it be rated as an evil spell? A doubt appeared in my heart. This auction management is tricking people to bid the items. No wonder low-level wizards are not coming here. If they participate, it would be a doom spell for them. Then shaking my head, I see people continue to increase the price. When the bidding touched 50 million, 100 million, a loud stern voice came from the top floor. Hearing that, everyone quieted down. The Weapon Palace, someone recognized the room. My mouth curved into an arc. I wasn't surprised by the Weapon Palace's bidding. The auction item is a broken evil sword. They must be interested in it. Seeing that it's the Weapon Palace's wizard, everyone stayed quiet. No one dared to make a bid again. Suddenly, someone tried to raise his hand. Snort, but next second the Weapon Palace wizard snorted in disdain. Cheap tricks. After saying that, he became quiet. The auction presenter Vivian's face becomes gloomy for a moment before it disappears. The level 5 wizards below suddenly woke up from the bad dream. They don't remember what had happened seconds ago? Horror and disbelief can be seen on their faces. Seeing that, a look of understanding dawned upon me. The Weapon Palace wizard has broken the charm spell, which caused everyone to return to reality. Now that won't stupidly raise the bid. Vivian immediately said, the Weapon Palace bid for 50 million points. Is anyone willing to increase the bid? Seeing that no one raised the bid, after asking for 3 more times, the broken evil sword finally sold out for 50 million credit points. Right after, the next auction item was brought in. Seeing that, Vivian said, the second auction item is grade 6 golden soil. The base price is 20 million credit points. Whoever wants to bid, they can start bidding. Her charm spell has worked again. Everyone below starts to increase the price again. 51 million credit points. 51.5 million credit points. 52 million credit points. Seeing that, my face turned ugly, the impression of auction has hit rock bottom. I'm afraid next time I won't come here alone unless I become a level 6 wizard and above. Gilbert Reese smiled. Vincent's reactions didn't go unnoticed in his eyes. He believes this trip will be a valuable lesson for Vincent. He didn't talk in order not to attract attention. 100 million credit points, a loud voice attracts everyone's attention. The bidding price was so high that everyone instantly gazed in the direction of the top floor. Royal Force Hall, few people exclaimed in surprise. How come they do not know about the Royal Force Hall? One of the 3 big academies in the capital. Obviously they can afford to buy the auction items. Soon the commotion died down suddenly. Back in the seat, a frown appeared in my face. How come that person got so much money? Is it similar to Senior Gilbert's method? Senior Gilbert received funds from the academy. Looking at the auction item, I believe the golden soil is equally important to them. Seeing that, auction presenter Vivian asked again for bidding. But seeing no one dared to increase the price, the golden soil is sold to the Royal Force Hall. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 1 hour, the auction came to a crucial point. I was quite surprised by the auction presenter. The snake blood hasn't come up yet for auction. It looks like someone deliberately placed it as the last item to bid. Meanwhile, the bloodline wizard KO's eyes are glancing around the participants. It's been 1 hour, but he hasn't found the trace of Gilbert Reese and that gravity brat. But he knows it will be exposed when the snake blood appears. At the same time, the Dark League member is also waiting for an important item to appear. Besides, Black and Bucky are watching the auction in silence. The next second, the auction presenter announced the name of the next item. Vivian said, incomplete map. Gasp! The participants exclaimed in surprise. Because any map is considered a valuable and rare item, even if it's an incomplete one. For a moment, the audience were in uproar, though most of them were affected by charm spells. But the appearance of the incomplete map made them even more mad. Vivian liked the crazy response of the audience. She smiled and said, yes, it's an incomplete map of unknown ruins. The map is yet to be deciphered. So if anyone is interested in bidding, they can start now. The basic bidding price is 5 million credit points, she added further. 6 million credit points. 6.2 million credit points. 6.5 million credit points. The people seated below started bidding. The price is increasing slowly. Smart manufacturing. Mitsubishi Electric. Meanwhile, a tinge appeared in my heart. I don't know why, but the incomplete map piqued my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't buy it. Are you interested in the map? Senior Gilbert's mental voice reached my ears. I turned toward him and slightly nodded my head. Gilbert Reese replied, "It's not easy to decipher the map. The people who are capable of decoding the map are working in the Mage Union. So it's unwise to buy the map unless you know about the map's secret." A look of understanding dawned upon me. Senior Gilbert's words made a lot more sense. Though the incomplete map looks attractive, I guess no one will bid for a higher price in today's auction. 50 million credit points. From the participant, some raised the bid a lot higher. Seeing that everyone was shocked. On the stage, auction presenter Vivian showed a bright smile on her face. She doesn't know whether her charm spell worked greatly. But as long as someone from the participants increases the bid more, she will get a lot more salary in the end. Because it's not easy to make lower wizards to increase the bid. Most of the participants stopped bidding after hearing the price. But few people noticed the person who raised the bid was not affected by the charm spell, which immediately attracted the attention of some bigwigs. The person is none other than a Dark League member. Seeing that he wore a metal mask, the participants near him gave a disdainful look before returning to their position. Black and Bucky are scared. Bucky was afraid of becoming the cannon fodder. Now people are looking at him with malicious eyes. He couldn't help but turn toward Black. Similarly, Black's face turned ugly. He was wondering earlier. He knows the headquarters have sent this person for a reason. It's not just to deal with Vincent Carey but also for auction. Now that Dark League Senior made his move, he knew he had to carry the incomplete map safely to the hideout later. Seeing that Bucky looking towards him in fear, his mouth twitched. He can understand Bucky's worry. He himself is not sure whether he can carry the item back safely. He sighed inwardly before nodding his head in assurance. On the auction stage, Vivian sold the incomplete map to the person wearing a metal mask. The Dark League member successfully became a target in everyone's mind. Some people can't wait to snatch and kill when the auction is over. Black frowned. He thought the senior would get up and leave. But he is still sitting. Does the auction have other items which attracted his attention? Black felt bad. Meanwhile, Dark League member was marked by few participants sitting below as well as from some of the v.i.ps. On the stage, the next auction item appears. Seeing that participants return to their usual position, the auction presenter Vivian revealed a bright smile on her face before saying, "The next auction item is a rare one." "It's time." Senior Gilbert's words reached my mind. I sat up straight and looked toward the auction stage. Under the eyes of everyone, Vivian revealed the auction item and said, "It's a single blood drop of a 6th-order ancient mutant snake. This ancient monster is known to have gravity magic powers." Gasp! When she finished those words, a loud gasp rang inside the room. A few people got up from their seats in surprise. Though the blood drop of an ancient snake was already known to the world, because the name was released days before the auction. But still some people can't hide their bewilderment. Seeing the shocking reaction of everyone, the auction presenter Vivian was satisfied. She then said, "As I said, this single blood drop is extremely valuable compared to other treasures. So the base price of the item is 100 million credit points." Her words fell like thunderclap in everyone's ears. Some people felt absurd, because the blood-related magic items were mostly used by bloodline wizards. And that too, not all of the bloodline wizards can use the blood-related magic treasures. The attributes need to be matched. Here the mutated blood has gravity attributes. So apart from the wizard with gravity magic, no one else can use this blood. That's why people below think the base price is ridiculous. By only the bloodline wizard Ko knows that someone will definitely buy this blood. That's why he asked auction management to set a high price after severe discussion. In this way, he can fulfill the task and at the same time can earn a large sum of money. A hint of greed flashes in his eyes. Now he shifted his gaze toward the audience. He wants to see who is hiding among the participants. Meanwhile, 100 million credit points, my heart set off storms. Are you kidding me? Even Gilbert Reese was stunned as well. His eyes flickered with calculative glint. From the beginning he felt something amiss about the auction. Now the base price was set at sky-high price. He feels someone disclosed Vincent's information to the auction authorities. Apart from Vincent, no one can make use of this snake blood in this country. Now he feels tricked. He doesn't know who is manipulating behind the scenes. Before he could think of anything else, someone made an even higher bid. 150 million credit points. A stern voice came from the Weapon Palace students' room. Vivian on the stage shocked for a moment before recovering her expression back to normal. Weapon Palace made a bidding of 150 million credit points. If anyone wants to bid further, they can raise the price, she said. The atmosphere is pin-drop silence. 150 million credit points? It's an astounding number. Gilbert's eyes flickered with cold glint. The Weapon Palace's move now made him certain that something is going on. As far as he knows, there is no one in the Weapon Palace who can use gravity magic. So why did they increase the bidding by 50 million? My expression turned gloomy. Right now, I started to feel Plan B makes more sense. This is my original way. If Senior Gilbert increases the price, then their identity would be exposed. Then using this opportunity, the other two academies would deliberately increase the price again. What do you think? Senior Gilbert's voice reached my mind. Hearing that, I wrote B on my thighs, indicating that I'm for Plan B. Gilbert Reese smiled. He gave Vincent an appreciative look. Plan B is not easy. Vincent can think calmly at this moment. He is impressed by his decision. Plan A seems to be impossible right now. The other two academies will definitely interfere, because he too doesn't want to expose their identity right now. Central auction. The Bloodline Wizard Co. started to feel anxious. Apart from the Weapon Palace, no one else made a bid. What is going on? He knew Gilbert and that Gravity Brat was in this building. Then why don't they bid? Is something wrong? Various questions appeared in his mind. He started to observe people sitting close to him. 200 million credit points. A loud voice came from another private room. Seeing that everyone else recognized it's from the Royal Force Hall again. Faces of the wizards sitting below changed drastically. They fear that conflict will break out when they walk outside. Few level 5 wizards immediately walk out of the building. They don't want to get caught in between their conflicts. On the auction stage, Vivian stunned as well. But she quickly calmed her mind. Before coming here, the manager had already infilled her with details. So she knew forehand that this blood drop will attract a lot of bloodshed. So she immediately said, Royal Palace Hall made a bid for 200 million. If anyone wants to increase the price, they can do it now. Her words caused many of them to curse inwardly. Are you kidding? Who can take out 200 million causally apart from those giant organizations? Seeing that no one is willing to bid, Vivian announced that the blood drop was sold to Royal Force Hall. Below, the Bloodlines Wizard KO's face changes drastically. Damn you Royal Wizards, he cursed them in his heart. But he still hasn't given up his hope. He knows about Gilbert Reese. That person is not simple. Gilbert might do something else. He then sent a message to the green-haired wizard. He instructed them to come. He wants to get back the snake blood from the Royal Force Hall. He can't let it go like that. Even Gilbert fails to appear. He made up his mind to snatch the blood from the Royal Force Hall. Back in the seat? My mood worsens. Though I'm practically prepared in my mind. But the Royal Force Hall's interference stunned me. I don't know why. But I had a weird connection with the Royal Force Hall member. Back in school, then in abandoned ruins, and now I came across the Royal Force Hall again. Then after calming down my heart, I waited for the auction to be over. Besides, Senior Gilbert has a thoughtful look on his face. Since the auction item was bought by the Royal Force Hall, he intends to clash with them. He knows quite a few fellows in the Royal Force Hall. But he doesn't know which level 6 wizard came here today. The atmosphere became weirdly quiet, though the snake blood was sold at sky-high prices. But it was not useful for everyone. It can only be used by gravity-related magic. So there are many important items yet to be auctioned. The auction presenter Vivian began to present the next auction item. Time passed in a blink of an eye. As the auction is nearing his end, everyone was on edge. At this point of time, half of the seats were empty. No one is willing to stay till the end. Experienced people know what kind of horror will happen after the auction. Let's leave. Senior Gilbert's words reached my ears. Hearing that, I saw him nodding his head. Plan B has started, I said in my heart. Then we left the auction building along with the others. Our actions didn't attract that much attention, because people were leaving from time to time. When we walked a few distance away from the auction building, Senior Gilbert turned toward me and said, I'll drop you out at a small canyon located at the border of our academy. The Royal Force Hall and the Weapon Palace are waiting for the final auction item, which is not mentioned in the published list. So I take this time to drop you at the safe zone. It's not wise for you to stay near me during the conflict, he added further. Smart manufacturing. Mitsubishi Electric. A look of understanding dawned upon me. Senior's thoughts were clear. Looks like he had calculated everything. At this time, I really wanted to ask what he intended to do. But it's impolite. Okay, Senior. Let's hope our plan works, I replied. Gilbert Reese smirked before grabbing Vincent's shoulder and disappearing from the spot. The sudden appearance of level 6 mana caught people's attention, especially the auction guards who were guarding outside and a few other wizards. But it was too late. By the time they went to investigate, the traces were gone. Swish! The wind brushes past my face continuously. But my focus is entirely on Senior Gilbert's flight ability. Last time, I saw the flight ability of an old man from the Dark League. It was a terrible experience. I had no time to appreciate the escort. We had fought to survive. But this time is different. I clearly feel that Senior Gilbert is moving in the air without much hindrance. Shortly after, we reached a small canyon. It was located exactly at the border of our academy. Thud. The next moment, we landed on the ground. Feeling the solid ground, I sighed inwardly. But suddenly a doubt appeared in my heart. Before the auction, I was chased by a few wizards. What happened to them now? Gilbert Reese decided to leave. Before going, he said, "Wait for me here. I'll come up with blood. And one more thing, don't go to the academy before that." The Bloodline Hall is not simple. If my guess is right, they have already started their layout. My eyes filled with surprise. I asked a senior, "What do you mean?" Gilbert Reese said with a sigh, "I'm suspecting there is a trap waiting for you." Trap? A doubt appeared in my heart. I don't understand. I won the official duel. They are not supposed to take action against me. Seeing the confusion in Vincent's eyes, Gilbert said, "Don't you think no one knows about Subtaboo Hall's intention?" I asked, "What do you mean?" Forget about the Weapon Palace in Royal Force Hall. Subtaboo Hall has rivals within the academy. I had received funds from the academy, but it was not with everyone's support, Gilbert said. My eyes burst out with a cold glint. Why? I feel someone behind the scenes creating trouble for me. Though I'm an ant, I like their existence. I can't fight against them now. But if there is any future, I will weed out these people for sure. A complicated glint flashes in Gilbert's eyes. He said, "You know why I was inclined to plan B more?" "Because of other factions," I replied. Gilbert said, "That's right. If we had won the bid successfully, there would be more troubles later. No one in the academy likes it. The management favors one faction over another. So some people don't like the actions of elders. Though Gravity's ancestors left a powerful inheritance to the academy, and it was our Subtaboo Hall right to inherit the mantle. But other factions won't like to offer it on a silver platter." After saying that, Gilbert turned toward me before saying, "They will create as trouble as possible before you can formally accept the inheritance." My heart turned cold. Then what is the point of giving funds to Senior Gilbert? I clenched my fists. Everyone is treating me as pawns. It's a conflict between wizard factions. Looks like I got dragged into it because of my late ancestors' inheritance. All right, I know you are sensible. As long as you reach the level 7 limit, you can decide your own fate. Here, take this black eye fruit. You are not a bloodline wizard, so the direct consumption of snake blood will only cause more harm. This fruit will help you in this situation." After saying that, he handed over the strange fruit. "Shall I eat it now?" I asked back. I don't want to waste time. If possible, I can adjust the state of my body in the meantime. Gilbert Reese nodded his head. "I'm leaving now. And don't attend anyone's call as well." After saying that, he disappeared from the spot. I stood in daze for a moment before searching for a hideout. A few minutes later, I sat under the massive rock and instructed the system. "System, show me the status panel," I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 100%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 100. Speed, 100. Stamina, 100. Vitality, 100. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution, LVL.3, 50. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 50%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions, and spell books, etc. Small canyon. Sitting under the rock, I checked the status panel. Seeing that there are no changes, I sat cross-legged and ate the black eye fruit. Right after the energy entered my organs and began to feel a burning sensation, and I began to sweat continuously. Small sweat beads dripped from my forehead. I have never felt such a burning sensation before. The changes happened so suddenly that it took me a couple of seconds to adjust my thoughts. I gritted my teeth and let the process continue. I sensed my blood was boiling constantly. This sudden change also caught my attention. Now I realized what senior meant. I'm undergoing the adaptation process. I hope senior comes up with blood. Otherwise, all of these efforts would be for nothing. Time went on. After 30 minutes, I opened my eyes. I see my whole cloth is soaked with sweat. I also spotted dredges all over my skin. Is this impurities in my blood? I uttered in surprise. My body feels a lot lighter. I immediately thought about checking the system. System, show me the status panel. I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 100%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 100. Speed, 100. Stamina, 100. Vitality, 100. Intelligence, LVL.350. Soul power, LVL.350. Smart manufacturing. Mitsubishi Electric. Mental power, LVL.350. Constitution LVL.350. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 70%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Then I began to go through the details. When my gaze fell on the physique, my pupils shrunk. 70%? It's a 20% increase. I became a lot more intuitive to the gravity mana. I had underestimated the power of the physique. I don't know what exactly had happened, but I know this is some kind of cleansing. Senior Gilbert sure has a lot of good things. At crucial times, he often gifted me with valuable magic items. Whether it's a mana-enhancing potion or black eye fruit, these things were not easily found. I guess he is betting on my future. If I accept the inheritance of a late gravity ancestor, then the reputation of the subtaboo hall would soar. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. After figuring it out, I gazed around the surroundings. Seeing no one, I decided to take a bath. Fortunately, I got spare cloth in my storage bracelet. Then I called out the system to enter the Gregor Mansion. Swish! I disappeared from the spot and appeared inside the control room. Then I walked out of the room. The Gregor Mansion is different from before. I renovated some of the things here, especially after my trip to an abandoned ruin. I bought a lot of emergency items and placed them here, including clothing, water, emergency kits. Then I went to take a bath in a nearby room. Meanwhile, on the auction stage, Vivian presented the final auction item. Grade 8 healing potion, Vivian said, as the curtain on the auction item falls off, hereby revealing the green color liquid bottle. Gasp! All the wizards let out a heavy gasp. Grade 8 healing potion is no joke. After most of them already left the auction in fear of conflict, the rest of them waited for the final auction item. Grade 8 healing items can't be bought in commercial shops. It's a rare magic product. So the appearance of such items made everyone breathe shorter. 300 million credit points. A loud shout came from the Weapon Palace's private room. When people turned towards the private room, another sound came from the nearby room. 350 million credit points. The bid was made by Royal Force Hall. The Royal Force Hall had successfully bought the rare snake blood, which is a grade 6 item. Now they are bidding for a grade 8 healing product. How come people let it happen? Everyone is looking for a show. 400 million, the Weapon Palace made another bid. Hearing such an exaggerated amount, everyone's breath became short. The grade 8 healing product is used to cure level 8 wizards. What kind of existence is a level 8 wizard? He has a powerful existence than older wizards. The level 8 wizard is the strong backbone of the country. The 3 magic academies are called behemoths, because each got level 8 powerhouse in their academy. On one hand, bidding is taking place. The other hand, the Dark League members' eyes didn't leave the green bottle. Sitting beside him, the core members Bucky and Black became pale with fright. Black cursed in his heart. He always rated himself as smart, but now he got trapped in a helpless situation. Seeing that the Dark League member is eyeing the green color liquid bottle, he realized that the Dark League member is after this healing product. And he wasn't even surprised. The grade 8 magic products won't appear in the markets. Such items were pre-booked by many influential forces. I think central auctions have managed to auction such items. He is sure from today their reputation will soar. By this time the bidding touched 500 million. The amount was quoted by the Weapon Palace. The atmosphere quieted down for a moment. Such an exaggerated amount. Some even thought that the Weapon Palace will have to sell their assets later, in order to make up for their losses. Even the Royal Force Hall remained silent. They didn't raise the price further. On the auction stage, Vivian's heart set off storms. In her career she hadn't heard such a bid. And no one dares to doubt the credibility of the Weapon Hall. Using this opportunity, people start to walk out. Since the final auction item is going to be sold, many thought there is no point in staying here. The Dark League member got up from the seat and walked to the exit. Seeing that Black and Bucky hurriedly followed from behind, Black saw the nervous expression of Bucky. He signaled him to stay calm. After walking out, the Dark League member turned toward Black and Bucky and said, "Looks like people from Yellow River Academy haven't come. The blood drop is now in the hands of the Royal Force Hall. So forget about this auction, the gravity brat will die sooner or later." Black sighed inwardly. He had predicted this would happen, because the Dark member has his own task to complete. Seeing the calm expression on their faces, the Dark League member was satisfied. He added further, "Right now, I have to snatch the grade 8 product from the Weapon Palace." When he said that, Bucky's face turned ugly. Black's eyes flickered with a slight glint. These two don't have an option to say no. Then both of them agreed to assist. At this time, Gilbert Reese is monitoring the building. The Dark League's target is the Weapon Palace, whereas Gilbert's target is the Royal Force Hall. Shortly after, people from the Weapon Palace walk out. There is a middle-aged man with black robe walking in front, followed by the 2 protectors wearing black robes as well. The giant axe behind the middle-aged man scared everyone. They immediately boarded flying craft to leave. Right after, the Dark League member grabbed the shoulders of Black and Bucky and disappeared from the spot. This all happened in a blink of an eye. Sudden movements caused small promotions. People surrounding the area realized the chasing and killing had started. So the lower-level wizards began immediately to flee from the place. Interesting, Gilbert Reese mumbled under his breath. A few seconds ago, the Weapon Palace's wizards attracted his attention. But his goal was not them. So he waited for the Royal Force Hall. But what he hadn't expected was that someone dared to chase the Weapon Palace. Not any ordinary faction can chase the flying cart of the Weapon Palace. But he didn't have time to dwell into it, because he saw the silhouette of Royal Force wizards. Unlike the Weapon Palace, the Royal Force has 2 people alone without any protectors. Seeing that, a quick glint flashes in his eyes, because he immediately recognized the people. The 2 wizards are famous twin pairs in the Royal Force Academy. He didn't expect these people to bid for the snake blood. But anyways, his job is going to be easy. When the twins boarded the flying craft and departed in front of the place, Gilbert Reese disappeared from the spot and followed them. Right after Gilbert disappeared, the Bloodline Wizard Ko walks out from the building. Immediately, his men appear before him. After knowing the direction the Royal Force went, Ko instructed his men to follow him from behind. He disappeared from the spot using his flight ability. Such movements attracted people on the ground, but no one dared to intervene. Even the auction authorities turned blind eye. They were used to witnessing such scenes each year, and this year is no different. For outsiders, the grade 8 healing product is more eye-catching than the rare snake blood. So everyone is looking forward to seeing whether the Weapon Palace's people will escape successfully or not. Meanwhile, Gilbert Reese narrowed the gap between him and the golden color aircraft. But he didn't hastily go ahead to obstruct their routes. Gilbert is well aware of current circumstances. He wants to check whether anyone else has set their target on the aircraft. A few minutes later, Gilbert Reese finally spotted a couple of aircraft from behind. Seeing them, his eyes gleamed with twinkle. He carefully slowed down his speed and covered his mana. At the same time, he saw the silhouette of the bloodline wizard. After a few seconds, he recognized the person. "I was wondering where you have been," he said in his heart. Before the start of the auction, a group of wizards gave chase to Vincent. He knows it's the work of Bloodline Hall. He also saw him sitting in the middle section inside the auction. But at that time he didn't want to startle the sheikh. Now he has appeared here, he revealed a small smile on his face. A terrible plan comes to Gilbert's mind. He doesn't want to expose his magic. So he wants to use the Bloodline Wizard Co as his knife. So he calmly watches other people's actions. On the other hand, the Bloodline Wizard Co immediately released toxic liquid on the aircraft. The sudden appearance of a level 6 wizard and magic attack caught the Royal Force wizards by surprise. They ditched the aircraft right away and appeared outside. They are not pushovers either. Soon the confrontation broke out. The two Royal Force wizards are elemental wizards. But their way of casting spells was different from the Yellow River Academy. Both of them use magic wands to cast the spells. The twins are working peerlessly to trap the Bloodline Wizard. But it was not enough despite being the similar level 6 wizard. Because the Bloodline Wizard is defending spontaneously. The power is coming from his bloodline. The next moment, Ko spewed toxic gas from his mouth, which pushed the opponents to the passive position. Meanwhile, Gilbert Reese shook his head in disappointment. He is not a great fan of using magic wands, enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. He knows magic wands provide an amplification effect to the spells. But today's era is different. We can learn different types of spells. The Royal Force Academy also keeps the tradition of using the magic wands alive. But this also turned out to be their ultimate weakness. What would happen if they lost their magic wand? They would completely become helpless. And here that's what Ko is trying to do. The twins tried hard to dispel the toxic gas in the air. But they can't do things at one time. Using this opportunity, Ko made a physical move on them. The Bloodline Wizards have strong bodies, unlike typical traditional wizards with weak physique. Then one of the twins dropped his wand. At the same time, Ko took the brunt of the spell attack from the other twin. Apart from superficial injury on the skin, there is no other injury. He remained unscathed. Suddenly, the Bloodline Wizard Ko let out a laugh and said, "Ha ha ha. You guys should know that I can still use my bloodline boost." Hearing the words, twins' faces changes drastically. One of the twins notices some wizards infiltrating the aircraft. Using his wands, he immediately put curses on them, which caused the infiltrators to pass out directly. The Bloodline Wizard Ko sneered inside. He never cared about the death of others. He came here to retrieve his things. The twins looked back at him with surprise. Two thought about using those infiltrators. But seeing the uncaring attitude, both of them get frustrated. They knew it's impossible for them to stop the Bloodline Wizard. If they really want to kill the Bloodline Wizard, then they have to lose a lot of precious things. Which are they not ready to sacrifice yet? "What do you want?" one of the twins asked finally. Hearing that, Ko smiled and replied, "Now we are talking. I'm not interested in killing you, because I knew both of you still had some life-saving items on you. So let's stop here. I just want the ancient snake blood drop." When he said those words, the twins looked at each other. No way, the snake blood drops and the person from the serpent clan. This thing attracted the attention of the snake family. The twins felt they missed something. One of the twins said, "We paid huge money to buy these auction items. So it's impossible to give it away just like that." The Bloodline Wizard Ko sneered. He said, "Are you sure? If I use my bloodline boost, then I could easily pinch your neck and strangle you to death." A cold shiver went down the twins' spine. They are both aware of trouble with some ability of bloodline wizards. If the person is really pushed to the edge, they knew their ending would be miserable. One of the twins gritted his teeth out of a metal case and handed it over to the Bloodline Wizard Co. Then they didn't wait for the other party to check. The twins used their flight ability to escape from here. The Bloodline Wizard Co didn't stop, because he feels a strange feeling from the box. He knows that ancient blood drops are stored inside it. He then placed the box in his storage bracelet before glancing over the air. He said, "I know you are here, Gilbert. Why don't you show your tail? I know that you want to give this ancient blood to the Gravity Kid." Swish! When he finished his words, Gilbert appeared before him. Seeing him, the bloodline wizard smiled and said, "I knew it. You did come to the auction. But why didn't you bid for the auction item?" Gilbert Reese didn't get annoyed by his words. Instead he replied, "Because you will give it to me freely." The bloodline wizard heavily snorted, "Harumph." The next second he used the bloodline boost ability. The serpent bloodline power began to awaken his blood. Because of that his blood began to boil. Gilbert Reese immediately caught changes. His mouth curves into arc before disappearing before the spot and appearing closer to him. "Shock fist," Gilbert said. Gilbert twisted his fist and gave a blow to abdomen. If anyone looks closely they can see a silver color layer covering the first of Gilbert. Boom! The shock magic penetrated the hard abdomen of the bloodline wizard and resulted in nearby injury. The shock magic power pushed him away. Got smashed continuously into the trees before crashing onto the ground. PFFF. Coughing up blood, the bloodline wizard tries to get up. The bloodline boost works perfectly. His deep abdomen injury starts to heal at a faster rate. But horror can be seen on KO's face. He was in a state of total disbelief. He didn't even look at his healing injury. He knew the attack was just a casual blow from Gilbert. But the shock magic was way more powerful than last time. Gilbert Reese appeared before him and asked, "Why are you so shocked?" The bloodline wizard calmed down his emotions. He asked, "Your power? Did you touch the limit?" Hearing that, Gilbert Reese smiled and replied, "Not bad. You have realized the difference in one blow." KO's heart set off storms. He had underestimated this person. He has touched the barrier even before them. Now they are no longer opponents. Once he achieves breakthrough, he will join the Elder House officially. A wry smile appeared on KO's face. "No wonder you have received the funds from the old fogies," he said with a bitter smile after some realization. It's all over. He knew it's impossible to fulfill the task anymore. Not only him, no one was able to touch the kid anymore. "I'm lost," uttered as he got up from the ground. Right now his life is more important than snake blood. He doesn't want to offend the elder level powerhouse. But it's a pity that it would take a long time for him to touch the barrier. Then he takes out the metal box from the storage bracelet and gives it to Gilbert. Gilbert smiled. He can understand the mood of this person. He simply recovered the box and placed it inside the storage bracelet. "I hope you don't reveal the news about me for the time being," Gilbert Reese said with a smile. The bloodline wizard's face darkened. He then nodded his head in agreement. Gilbert Reese disappeared from the spot after leaving the bloodline wizard alone. He didn't want to kill this person, because he knows the bloodline hall is behind this person. It's not wise to kill the wizard of the same academy at this time. Seeing the empty spot, the bloodline wizard revealed a bitter smile on his face. Earlier he thought he made a perfect scheme. In the end he was calculated by the enemy. After sighing, he knows it is not easy to explain to the higher-ups. Failure is a failure in the end. Because the bloodline hall's target is not Gilbert Reese but the Gravity Brat. Seeing that the Gravity Brat was not with Gilbert Reese, he got a good excuse for the failure. Then he texted the message to the green-haired wizard. A few wizards who came here to assist died in the end. Gilbert warned him before leaving, so decided to report it as an accident. When it comes to Vincent Carey, he knows as long as the Gravity Brat stays in the academy, he has plenty of opportunities to come up with a good plan. But it's a pity their ancestor Snake Blood had fallen into the hands of Gilbert. He knows sooner or later the thing will be handed to the Gravity Brat. But apart from the bloodline wizard, no one can directly consume the raw blood drop, because it would be fatal. Thinking about it, his eyes gleamed with twinkle. He still has time to reverse some things. As long as he reports back to higher-ups, they will surely come up with a plan to get that snake blood back. After figuring it out, the hope rekindled in his heart. He immediately used flight ability to rush back to the academy. Meanwhile, the Dark League members Black and Bucky were currently after the Weapon Palace wizards, because the Weapon Palace has bought the Grade 8 healing product from the auction. So their senior is confronting them right now. He is fiercely fighting against the Weapon Palace's Axe Wizard. On the ground, the broken bodies of guards can be seen. Before fighting the Axe Wizard, the person wearing a metal mask took care of the guards assisting the Axe Wizard. "Hey Black, what's the level of the Axe Wizard?" Bucky asked with concern. Because their job is not to assist but to safely escort the treasure item. Hiding beside him, Black's eyes flickered with twinkle. The Axe Wizard is a level 6 powerhouse similar to their seniors. But Black wasn't able to guess the magic power of the senior. It's completely hidden. Suddenly changes take place in the duel. The burly axe wizard who was fine battling seconds ago was coughing up loads of blood all of a sudden. Bucky's expression becomes pale with fright. Two of them totally underestimated their seniors. At first they thought that a wizard might pose some threat. But right now he was reduced to half dead. At the same time, the Dark League member said to the axe wizard, "Hand over the grade 8 healing product." A wizard who was half kneeling on the ground couldn't stop coughing. He asked, "What have you done to me?" The person wearing a metal mask sneered. He said, "Don't waste my time. You have been inflicted with potent poison. If not treated, your mana core will explode." Hearing that axe wizard's expression darkened. He knew something was wrong with his body during the fighting. But he can't hand over the grade 8 product. It's important to their academy. Enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. Before leaving the auction building, he had already informed the elders. He knew there might be killing and looting on the way. But he hadn't expected to encounter the trouble so soon. On top of it, the wizard is wearing a metal mask. He wasn't able to identify either. The Dark League member knows delaying is not good. He again released the spell. PFFF. This time the axe wizard coughed up blood heavily. His vitality is also dropping rapidly. Facing such hurdles, the axe wizard didn't plan to compromise. He wants to hold on until the elder arrives. But it seems impossible. His vitality is quickly disappearing at a rapid rate. After a few seconds, he lost his complete breath and dropped dead on the ground. From the beginning to end, he didn't know what happened, except being poisoned by an unknown enemy. Then the person wearing a metal mask quickly collected the loot, including the storage bracelet. Then he handed everything over to Black and Bucky. "You guys quickly take these things back to the hideout. And don't come out of the place until I'll call you back," he said with a stern expression. Black and Bucky nodded their heads. After receiving the item, they quickly rushed back to their hideout. At the same time, the person wearing a metal mask turned the axe wizard's corpse into ashes. Then he chose the left direction to leave. Right after he left, a few silhouettes appeared at the ashes. They were all elders sent by the Weapon Palace. One of the elders crouches down to inspect the ashes. They lost the connection with Axe Wizard exactly from this spot. Everyone had dreadful expressions on their faces. When they lost the connection, they knew something had gone wrong. "We are a bit late," the elder who inspected the ashes said in a solemn tone. Hearing the words, everyone lost their composure. "Who is bold enough to kill our Weapon Palace, people?" A sword-wielding elder asked out in anger. "Let's spread out and find the trails. We might be able to catch the culprit." One of the elders made a comment. They knew it's not the time to talk. More than the demise of a wizard. Everyone is concerned about the grade 8 healing product. They can't return empty-handed. All of them spread out in 4 directions. They don't want to lose the culprit. I discovered a cave-like shelter to hide. I don't know when he will come back. Until then I made up my mind to rest here. My communication watch is filled with notifications. Most of them are from my senior sister. But it's a pity I can't reply to her. Senior Gilbert gave me a clear instruction before leaving. He doesn't seek to be a person who likes to joke around. So I waited here. Time passed in a blink of an eye. 30 minutes later, a silhouette appeared in front of me. He is none other than Senior Gilbert. "Senior." I stood up from the ground to meet him. Gilbert Reese smiled and said, "Fortunately our plan met with success." When he said those words, a wave of ecstasy rose in my heart. Finally I can break through. Senior Gilbert then takes out a metal box from his storage bracelet. Seeing that, I immediately recognized the box. When he opened inside, a red-colored liquid bottle came into view. The red color is exactly the blood of the snake monster. Looking at the red bottle, Gilbert said with envy, "You are really lucky. The bloodline treasure is one of the most desirable treasures in the world. In particular, the ancient bloodlines. A single drop of ancient bloodline might contain ancient memories or inheritance. If you are lucky, you may come across some inheritance," Senior Gilbert added further. Hearing that, sudden heart appeared in my heart. It feels like a pie falling down from the sky. Gilbert watched the expression of Vincent. Then he asked, "What do you want to do now?" "I advise you to consume the blood right here," Gilbert said. Hearing his words, I nodded my head in agreement. Then I received the red bottle from his hand. "I'm going to cover this shelter with magic formation. Take this opportunity to consume the blood." After saying that, Gilbert began to lay out the magic formations around the shelter. Seeing that, I hurriedly returned back to the seated position. I sat cross-legged and opened the red bottle. Then I drank the blood drop in one get-go. I kept my mind blank. But when the blood drop entered my body temperature rose up all of a sudden. Thanks to earlier cleansing, the blood didn't directly damage the body, but it slowly starts to mix with the inner organs. In particular, the ancient snake blood energy entered my bloodstream. Boom! I feel like a sudden explosion rang in my body. PFFF. I coughed up blood unknowingly. I don't know what's happening inside my body. My mind is in a state of chaos. Suddenly the ancient power in the mutated blood activates when it comes in contact with the gravity mana in my body. Outside. After arranging the formations, Gilbert Reese waited outside. He didn't plan to peek inside to see what's happening with Vincent Carey, because he already gave black eye fruit to Vincent, which was sufficient enough to save Vincent's life from the violent nature of the bloodline. Now everything is up to Vincent. As long as he digests the blood drop successfully, his strength will increase beyond the limits. My mind was in a state of the blank. I don't know how long it has been, but I came across a vague picture in my mind. The pictures seemed to be ancient and new. They were not mine at all. Before I could think of anything else, a few more pictures come to mind. Then I spotted a giant black snake moving in the starry sky. There is no difference between the infinite dark space and the snake's skin color. It's pure pitch black. If not for the snake's movement, I wouldn't have identified it. Quickly, another scene appeared. I see the nearby meteor streams were affected by the snake's presence. Wherever the snake passes, the surrounding meteors and stars crumbled into pieces. It was not even an intentional attack. The ancient snake's power passively affected the environment. The pressure was so great that no object gets near the snake in one piece. Suddenly, my thoughts became clear. And only one word comes to mind: gravity. The ancient snake had gravity powers. But it's not similar to mine. The snake's power looked natural and appeared to be a higher form of gravity magic. Otherwise, it would be difficult to explain the passive working of gravity magic. Before I could think further, the pictures were crumbling into pieces. The next moment, I feel heart-wrenching pain. I realized I was in a state of breaking through. I operated the gravity arc mental method to absorb the gravity magic. Suddenly, changes take place inside my body. The gravity powers of the snake blood began to assimilate. Instead of settling inside the mana core, the new gravity powers absorbed by physique. Then a look of understanding dawned upon me. The ancient snake's gravity magic is not suitable for my mana core. My mana core has pure gravity mana particles. If the two powers were mixed, then it might cause irreversible changes. It's a greater risk. So I'm glad that the ancient snake's power absorbed my physique. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Click. I don't know how long it has been, but I feel the barrier has been broken completely. The next moment, I feel the rapid improvements taking place. Level 4, I uttered with joy. Suddenly my thoughts became clearer and I returned to reality. I got escaped from the control of the ancient snake. I don't know what happened exactly, but my current thoughts were all about the new level. I immediately checked my mana core. The thumb-sized mana core inside the mana core space has become thickened and refined, and the golden luster over the surface of the mana core is more visible. Not only the mana core but the golden runes marked on the walls of the mana space region is more thickened. The aura of sacredness is getting richened. By this time, I got relief from the heart-wrenching pain. When I shifted my attention to the inner organs and bones, I see an improvement in inner organs and bones. They are all a lot strengthened than before. It is not because of reaching level 4 from level 3. I also think the ancient snake's gravity power has some hand in it. But due to my limited knowledge, I couldn't able to discern clearly. Then I opened my eyes. A terrible smell attacked my nose. I see black impurities all over my body. Stepping into level 4 from level 3 is a huge leap in quality. I immediately removed the impurities using cleansing items. When I looked outside, I see some kind of formation was laid out. I knew it was Senior Gilbert's hand. Then I shifted my attention back to the new wizard limit. System, show me the status panel. I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 4 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL 0.41%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength -302. Speed, 304. Stamina, 306. Vitality, 307. Intelligence, LVL.41. Soul power, LVL.43. Mental power, LVL.42. Constitution, LVL.42. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.3, 1%. Hashtag 1%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.4. 2. Gravity push, LVL.4. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.4. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.4. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.4. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.4. Spell slots available 6. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing that the status panel is working right, I sighed in relief. Before breaking through, the power attributes were shown in 100. I was worried. But now seeing the normal-looking status, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. This system version sure has some bugs. Now that I have stepped into level 4, the power attributes cross the 300 limits, which is the correct indication. I hope similar bugs won't appear again. Then I slowly began to go through the details. I want to see the effects of the ancient snake blood. I see the gravity core showing LVL.4. After seeing no problem, then I shifted my gaze toward the talent. The talent has not improved. After witnessing such a gigantic ancient snake in the picture, I thought that the ancient snake's blood is similar to the super relic treasure. But it's a pity that talent was not upgraded. Suddenly, a terrible idea strikes my mind. Already many people are wondering about my talent. There is no way to reach level 4 with my actual talent of mine. If people were aware of my breakthrough, then it will raise a lot of eyebrows. I can't simply come up with a logical reason to answer them. The existence of super relic is regarded as a myth all over our world. So the only way to close their mouth is to put every credit on the ancient green snake's blood. Thinking about the plan, my mouth curved into an arc. I feel a huge weight being lifted off my shoulder. The issue of my talent has bugged me ever since I joined the special class. The more I shine, the more people would scrutiny me. I don't want to give them any chance. Then I shifted my gaze toward the power attributes. Strength, 302. Speed, 304. Stamina, 306. And vitality, 307. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Feeling the improvement in physique, the earlier gloominess in my heart was completely swept away. Last time, I defeated Clifton Cox and earned a name from my sub-taboo haul. But nobody knows what happened. I defeated him using upgraded gravity magic. It would have most miserably if it was pure body confrontation. Thanks to the breakthrough, I got some sense of security. Now I can handle level 3 wizards without having to resort to gravity magic. Next, I see 4 mystery attributes. Intelligence, soul power, mental power, and constitution. All of them reach the level 4 limit. I don't know the relation between the constitution and the sacred gravity physique. Again, my limited knowledge becomes a hurdle. Sooner or later, I should uncover the secrets. I wasn't surprised by the sacred gravity physique's improvement. When the ancient snake's gravity power disappeared into my physique, I knew my physique is going to be improved. But the thing under the gravity sacred physique attracted my attention. What is this 1%? I raised my eyebrows in confusion. The words are not clear. Is this bug or what? System, what is this unclear name? I asked the system. Ding. The system version is low to decipher the name. Ding. The host is advised to update the system version ASAP. Right after the mechanical voice gave answers. Version is low. I mumbled under my breath. It was already a miracle to come across the Gregor Mansion. If not, I wouldn't have to stumble across the opportunity to upgrade the system. Shaking my head, I set my gaze on the spells. The spell slot increases by 3. Now I can learn up to 6 new spells. After closing the status panel, I got up from the ground. When I moved, the small rocks on the ground crumbled into pieces. Seeing the familiar scene, a look of disbelief appeared on my face. The small rocks were similar to pebbles. If not been careful, I would have missed the details. To verify, I moved again. When I took new steps forward, I see small rocks getting pulverized again. After confirming the scene with my eyes, I couldn't help but remember the ancient pictures, where the giant ancient snake's movement had caused surroundings, meteors, and planets to go to ashes. Suddenly, something strikes my mind. The unclear name in the status panel might have something to do with this. The 1% of power meant something. Maybe it's the passive gravity power of the snake. But I'm not entirely sure. Seeing the passive working of gravity power around me, my eyes gleamed with twinkle. Fortunately, the movements was not so big. Otherwise, it can easily attract others' attention. After calming down my heart, I slowly walked out. Seeing me coming, Senior Gilbert turned toward me. He immediately felt the change in temperament and asked, "Did you get a breakthrough?" I nodded my head and replied, "I'm a level 4 wizard now." For a moment, Gilbert stood in daze. He is aware of Vincent's background. Especially he knows about Vincent's talent, which is not particularly great. But at this moment, he doesn't know how to describe this situation. At the same, I realize Senior Gilbert is running his thoughts. It's the right time to put the credit on the ancient snake's blood. I don't know what happened exactly, but the gravity magic hidden inside the ancient blood absorbed my body. Right after, I feel some changes in my talent. It feels like it has gone a step further after saying that I expressed joy on my face. At least my statement should be believable. Right at this moment, Gilbert saw the rich expression of Vincent. He pushed down unnecessary thoughts in his mind and asked about the ancient snake blood. Then I slowly described what I have witnessed in these broken pictures. At first, Gilbert's expression was calm. But when he heard pitch black snakes swimming in the infinite starry sky, his pupils shrank. That snake's characteristics were similar to those described in written records, he said in his heart. At this moment, he didn't doubt Vincent's words at all. Apart from the elders, no one knows about the starry sky snake. So he believes Vincent's words were true. Not only that, he also thinks Vincent's talent must have gone mutation under the effect of ancient snake blood. His eyes shone with bright light. Gilbert turned toward Vincent and said, "You are lucky. In most cases, wizards would get some kind of powers from the ancient blood. But you, on the other hand, got the talent improvement. Do you want to check your talent?" Gilbert asked. "Irraplia? No. To tackle this situation, I have already thought of something." I said, "If I show higher talent, then I will face even more trouble." "Senior, there were 2 assassination attempts on me. Not from the academy but from the Dark League," I added further. Hearing that, a look of understanding dawned upon Gilbert Reese. "Dark League, it's a trouble faction. All right. There is no need to reveal your talent. I'll answer higher-ups if there are some doubts." I sighed inwardly. My plan worked perfectly. Not only I broke though because of the ancient blood, I even managed to come up with the reason for my higher talent. Then Senior Gilbert grabbed my shoulder and rushed towards the academy. After several minutes, we entered the academy space and he dropped on the ground, enabling comfortable living. "Mitsubishi Electric," Gilbert said, "don't come outside for the next 2 days. Just use this time to stabilize your new limit." After saying that, he disappeared from the spot. Then I turned around and walked towards the dorm room. A few minutes later, I returned back to my room. The first thing I did was to get some shower and clean the impurities. After several minutes, I walked out from my bath and changed to casual clothes. Senior sister Carolina has sent me numerous messages. I guess she might have worried because of Plan B. The central auction was a live event. She must have watched the entire event. A black line appeared on my forehead. Then I opened the messages and sent a reply back to her. Obviously, I can't walk outside and go to the sub-taboo hall. People might be waiting outside of the sub-taboo hall. Using this opportunity, I began to read the Gravity Wizard books. I want to take control of the passive working of gravity power. Fortunately, the things inside my room are much sturdier than ordinary pebble rocks. Meanwhile, the green-haired wizard in the Bloodline Hall is waiting for his friend to appear. He didn't know whether Ko had managed to get the blood back, because everyone saw that ancient snake blood was bought by the Royal Force Hall, and it's quite difficult to handle them. Some higher-ups of the Bloodline Hall thought that the ancient blood might be bought by the Sub-Taboo Hall's person, but the end result made them a joke. Not only the Sub-Taboo didn't buy the ancient blood, the whereabouts of Gilbert Reese and Vincent Carey is unknown. Shortly after, a courthouse wizard comes to him with urgent news. "They are back," the green-haired wizard blurted out in surprise. The courthouse wizard got the news from the dorm's eyeliner that Vincent Carey has returned to his room. On the other hand, they have arranged many people outside of the Sub-Taboo Hall. At the same time, the green-haired wizard was totally pissed off. If Vincent Carey is back, then Gilbert might have also returned from the trip. After sending the courthouse wizard back, the green-haired wizard waited for the bloodline wizard Ko to appear. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 1 hour, the bloodline wizard Ko reached the academy. He immediately went to his bloodline hall. His appearance immediately made a lot of waves. When the green-haired wizard saw Ko, he got up from the seat and asked, "You are back. What about the blood?" Ko, who was in a bad mood, already looked toward him with a cold gaze. He asked, "Did you read my message?" The green-haired wizard nodded his head and replied, "Vincent Carey had returned an hour ago." The bloodline wizard Ko sighed in relief and said, "Good, monitor his movements. If he comes outside, inform me immediately." After saying that, Ko immediately went to see the higher-ups. The green-haired wizard wants to inquire more. But seeing him in a hurry, he avoided the urge to ask the questions. Many wizards joined the Elder House from the Bloodline Hall. Because of it, they got a strong voice inside the academy. One of the wizards in the Elder House gave him the task. At first, Ko was not sure about the identity. But when he connected all of the recent happenings and Vincent's performance, he guessed that some don't want to see the rise of the Subtaboo Hall. Inside the Bloodline Hall, every true house wizard has a separate space where they can meditate and practice all time. But right now, Ko has something in his mind. When he entered his own space, he felt secured. He immediately used his communication watch to contact the person. The connection was established in seconds. Instead of a holographic image, a pitch-black screen appeared. Seeing that, Ko became nervous in an instant. He knew the power level of this person. It might be level 7 or level 8. A second later, a modified voice reached his ears, which was neither male nor female. What happened? Ko knew this was done to hide the identity. So he didn't dare to be rude. Ko gulped his saliva before reporting the events. After explaining the things, he waited in silence. The black screen didn't change for a moment. "So you have failed? What's the use of you in our Bloodline Hall? Dignified Serpent Clan has produced such trash. I think it's better to send you to explore the collapsed ruins." The weird voice reached him again. The Bloodline wizard Ko's expression becomes pale with fright. He knew it's not easy to get away without punishment. But he hadn't expected to see the collapsed ruins. That place is worse than prison. The space of the collapsed ruins was unstable. No one actually goes there to explore. For a moment, he doesn't know how to explain this calamity. Suddenly he thought of his previous plan and said hurriedly, "Elder, there is still some hope left. It's not easy to consume ancient blood. It needs some preparation." When he finished his words, the black screen shook for a moment. Before the words reached his ears, "You talk." Hearing that, he found the last straw of life and began to explain his plans. After a few seconds, the black screen moved again. "So you are saying as long as that kid doesn't consume some potions, it's impossible to consume the blood directly?" The voice reached his ears again. The Bloodline wizard Ko immediately nodded his head. He replied, "Yes, Elder, we just have to lure this kid outside to snatch the blood from him." After saying that, the hope rekindled in his heart. If he can make this plan successful, he might get the blood enhancement potion again. He wants to get another opportunity from the elders. But he knows it's not easy to come up with a plan in a short time. If the elder gives a nod, then he will surely make things difficult for that kid. "I'll give you one more chance. Do something before that kid consumes the ancient blood." The voice reaches his ears again. He immediately said, "Yes, Elder. I will make sure things are right this time." Subtaboo Hall. Carolina Slate kept looking at her communication watch. But right after receiving a message from her junior brother, her confusion and worries were completely swept away. She couldn't believe that they succeeded in their Plan B. After watching the central auction, she knew Senior Gilbert was going to switch to Plan B. But she hadn't expected that their Plan B would succeed in such a short time. She had imagined a huge conflict might break out. Unexpectedly, they have done it without any escalation. From her junior brother's message, she also learns that it's impossible for Vincent to leave the dorm anytime soon. After closing the message, she resumed her work. Time passed in a blink of an eye. The wizard halls were keeping their eye on the Subtaboo Hall and the Bloodline Hall. It has been a few hours since the auction was over. But the news outlets have already started sharing breaking news. The Weapon Palace Academy and the Royal Force Academy have both suffered an ambush attack on their way back to the academy, which sent a huge shockwave across the whole capital city. The Weapon Palace and Royal Force Academy are one of the top forces in the capital, and among two of the three best wizard academies in the country. So everyone is wondering who is daring enough to attack these two forces and snatch their auction items. After spending enormous wealth, the Weapon Palace has bought the Grade 8 healing product. So many of them were showing some speculation. Not everyone is ready to believe that the Weapon Palace has lost the Grade 8 healing product. When it comes to Royal Force Hall, the situation is complex. The Royal Force Hall didn't reveal any information about the attack. But people with discerning eyes couldn't help but turn their attention to the Yellow River Academy. One of the main talks of the central auction is about the absence of one of 3 academies. The Yellow River Academy failed to participate in this year's central auction, which caused a lot of people to raise their eyebrows. This was the situation in the capital Dragon City. But here inside the academy, everyone is staring at the Subtaboo Hall and the Bloodline Hall. Absence of Vincent Carey this morning has drawn much attention. Right now people are starting to get news slowly about Vincent's return. So some people couldn't wait to confirm the news. Because of this, few people walk past the Subtaboo Hall from time to time. Carolina was fully aware of the situation. That's why she feels it's best for Vincent to stay inside the dorm for the time being. Meanwhile, the Bloodline Wizard Ko walks out from his private room. After talking with the elder, he gained one more chance. His eyes flickered with cold glint. Before the end of the conversation, he made a request to the elder. He somehow wants Vincent to go outside. Only in that way can he come up with a plan to get that ancient blood back. His hands were tied inside the academy. He can't forcibly go around the Subtaboo and ask the brat to hand it over, enabling comfortable living. Mitsubishi Electric. So he is waiting to get the green signal from the elder. When he walked into the common room, he saw the green-haired wizard again. Looking at his face, his snake pupil flickers. Then he met him and slowly briefed him about the recent events. A few hours later, Mike Curtis wishes to have a friendly duel challenge between the Taboo Hall and the Subtaboo Hall. A new post popped up on the Academy's social media site. At first, it didn't draw that much attention. But as the time went, the post got quickly noticed by the Bloodline Wizard. The Bloodline Wizards have a tiff with the Subtaboo Hall. So they started to circulate the post even more. Slowly from the Bloodline Hall to the Transformation Hall, everyone began to share the post. But unfortunately, the post was done by an anonymous person. They couldn't verify the credibility of the news. Subtaboo Hall. Carolina Slate, who just finished some administration work, wants to go back right now. But suddenly she stopped her movement after getting the pop-up notification. Seeing that it was from the social media site, Carolina immediately opened the page to read. But after seeing the headline, her pupil shrank. What the fuck? She cursed out in surprise. My Curtis, she mumbled under her breath. Unlike Subtaboo, the Taboo Hall is very less active. You can't spot them on normal days. Nobody knows what they are up to. But everyone knows that each one of the Taboo Wizards had a powerful existence. Compared to other Taboo Wizards, the Wizard Curtis is a well-known Taboo Wizard. Because he has a lot of network. His connection is widespread so much that he got admirers in all 12 Wizard Halls. After going through the post, she couldn't help but have a gloomy look on her face. My Curtis, level 5 Shadow Wizard. His shadow magic is so powerful that even some level 6 wizards find it hard to tackle. Then looking at the anonymous name, she raised her eyebrows in confusion. She just hopes this might be another conspiracy post. Because the level 5 wizards in the Subtaboo Hall were all busy. They had no time to entertain my Curtis. Meanwhile, inside the Taboo Hall, my Curtis is looking at the picture on his watch with a fierce gaze. The picture is an image of a female wizard who is none other than Lara White. Appreciating the beautiful image, he began to think about Lara's current whereabouts. Ever since he saw Lara White, he was attracted by her beauty. At the same time, someone asked him to get closer to her. Because of the 2 reasons, he was motivated to get her. I heard Lara was accepted by the elder level wizard as a personal student, Curtis said to himself. His eyes flickered with cold glint. She was hard to contact on normal days. If this news is true, then it will be harder for him to approach her. Any wrong move can offend the elder level wizard behind her. But the thing is that he doesn't know the identity of the elder level wizard. And the news was kept confidential. He came to know about this because of his connection. No, I shouldn't waste any more time, Curtis muttered to himself. Then he contacted one of his eyelines to ask about Lara White. But after receiving the news, he expressed his disappointment on his face. No one knows about Lara White. She is not in the Taboo Hall currently. Beep. Suddenly, he received some notifications back to back. What is this? He opened the notification in confusion. It was from a social media site. But when he read the messages, he got instantly pissed off. Someone used my name. He gritted his teeth in anger. No one dares to mess with their Taboo Hall. Even for some random social media post. No one carelessly mentions the name of the Taboo Hall Wizards. But suddenly his gaze fell on the Subtaboo Hall. Image of Lara comes to his mind. Some time ago he met Lara when she was wondering about her classmate. That person is also from the Subtaboo Hall. What if I confront this person? There is a possibility for Lara to come out of her hideout. The more he thinks about it, the more he feels possible. Then he immediately began to check that person's information. A few minutes later, his face filled with surprise. So all the fuss about the central auction is because of him, Curtis said to himself. Then suddenly he frowned. The timing of the social media post is suspicious, especially when everyone is looking forward to seeing Vincent Carey. Is someone planning to use me as a knife? He said in his heart. He fell into deep contemplation. Beep. Right after, he receives a call from one of the acquaintances from the Bloodline Hall. Seeing that he attended the call. Joe, Curtis. How are you? A male voice reached his ears. So this is your work? Curtis replied. Then he asked about the social media post. His acquaintance remained silent before saying, yes, I did post that specific post but anonymously. A look of understanding dawned upon Curtis. He knew it. No one dares to mess with Taboo Hall that easily. Curtis, I want you to lure out the wizard named Vincent Carey. If you agree to do this, then our Bloodline Hall will provide you with shadow stones. His acquaintance made the request. Curtis' mouth curved into an arc. He confirmed something now. These guys really want him to use them as a knife to target Vincent Carey. He replied, do you think I lack shadow stones? Then Curtis asked, I heard your Bloodline Hall is doing some crazy experiments. How do you know? His acquaintance asked with a surprised voice. Curtis snorted and replied, I have my own channels to know about it. If you really want the cooperation, I need some blood of the shadow-type monsters. Curtis wants to use this opportunity to make some money.